Welcome into Views from the Sideline.
See that?
It is March 19th, 2019. It is our March Madness preview. And that's one of our guests, Garrett Kolodziej. I'm your host, Chris Pappas. Across the table, Joey Tysick.
Hello.
To my right, Malik Hill. And our two special guests, Garrett Kolodziej. He was here last week. He's here again this week. Host of Colo Sports Corner on 88.3 WXOU The Grizz. Welcome, Garrett.
Thank you for having me again, Chris. Also, I want to make a public apology to Joey. I mocked him last week for picking Michigan State in the Big Ten title game, and I want to officially apologize. I will own that. That is something that I'm not proud about. My Boilermakers failed everybody and lost to Minnesota, and I'm not proud about that. But wanted to apologize too. But Chris, thanks again for having me on the show.
I did pick Michigan Garrett. In that game though, so
sorry, that was a classy gesture.
Classy.
Yeah, but let's be fair here, Joey. At least you called the right final matchup. So.
And across the table from me as well, Sammy Taormina.
Hey, Sammy.
Welcome back,
Sammy. Welcome back.
How are you guys? Everybody going good?
Yes, everyone's doing good. He's host of Between Taorminas and OAA Now here on ONTV. Sammy. What's happening?
Oh, not much. I did mention a little bit on the my podcast yesterday about the tournament, but of course we just had the boys basketball state tournament. Now we're on the verge of the girls basketball tournament. We have one team in that, which is Southwood A&T. I'm glad to be here. Looking forward to the NCAA tournament as always. And by the way, Mr. Joey Tysick, I picked Michigan State to win the Big Ten tournament.
Oh, look at you. Not surprised though that you picked them.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Oh, man. Well, today it's going along the same format as we did last year. We'll go through the entire bracket and make an official Views from the Sideline NCAA bracket, which we will submit to all the groups. Last year we were famous for picking Loyola to go so far. Loyola, Chicago. Shout out to you guys. Sister Jean.
I think, had Nevada in my Final Four. They fell short in the Elite Eight, but that's my other claim to fame. I had Nevada. No one else believed in the Wolfpack.
No one did. Hey.
And I had Michigan in the national championship.
You did. That's right. Listen, if you listened to us last year, you made a lot of money. I can't guarantee that this year, but we're going to try.
What about UMBC upset of Virginia, man?
Nobody called that.
I had one person last year call that game in one of the brackets I worked with this year.
That's insane.
It was insane.
Now, I do want to say something, though, about the bracket. Chris, I wanted to ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think of the seeding? What do you think overall the top 16 seeds? What do you think about how things played out? Duke, #1 overall seed. I mean, I want to get your opinion on it.
Well, I want to say one thing before we start picking.
Okay.
I think Duke's in trouble. I think,
Ooh.
and we'll get to it. I don't want to spoil anything, but I think they got a bad draw in the East region for a certain team that matches up very well against Duke. We'll get into that.
What team matches?
I don't want to spoil it.
How many teams?
I don't want to spoil it. We'll get into it.
Okay.
Another thing, I think Michigan State did get kind of robbed.
They did.
By their seeding.
No.
I was screaming.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, no surprise. The guy who's on the propaganda machine screaming at the TV.
I was livid.
Well,
they should have got a #1 seed. 14,
well, when you lose,
what's wrong with 14 automatic qualifying wins?
Sammy,
3 of them against Michigan.
Sammy, when you lose twice to a quadrant 2 team in Indiana, you lose to a quadrant 3 team, borderline quadrant 4 in Illinois, and you barely beat your teams in conference by 12 points or less per game, you don't deserve to be a 1 seed. I'm sorry. Okay? Gonzaga has consistently shown, Virginia has consistently shown, North Carolina has consistently shown all year.
But North Carolina lost by 27 to Michigan.
They also won the regular season ACC championship. So let's be fair here.
But Michigan State won the Big Ten.
This is a Roy Williams squad
and postseason.
This is a regular season UNC team that has rallied. And yes, I didn't think that they were going to have the right type of players. A guy like Kobe White has impressed me. A guy like Cameron Johnson has come out of nowhere and impressed me. Luke May is one of the best shooters in the country.
But
okay,
14 automatic qualifying.
Yeah, but you don't
get a conference championship.
Sammy, you don't get there. Here's the thing. If you want to be a 1 seed, you don't lose 3 straight games, and you don't lose in Champaign by 5, going to overtime against the 9-win Illinois Fighting Illini team, okay? You don't deserve it at that point.
Since that Michigan game, North Carolina's gotten better by leaps and bounds. I think that needs to be noticed.
Right. And here's the thing I'll say is that people were saying Gonzaga was a week 1 seed. They did lose to St. Mary's. And yes, I agree that wasn't a great look for them heading into the tournament. Let's be fair here. They're still one of the most efficient teams in the country. They handle the ball well. They don't turn the ball over. And in my opinion, they have one of the 3 best players in college basketball right now in Rui Hachimura. So I love Gonzaga. I think the committee was excellent with what they did. The one thing I will say that State got a little bit unfavorable matchup was obviously being the 6th overall seed in the country.
How are they the 6th overall? How are they the 6th overall?
Because when
number
you play
2 seed, and you're in a region with Duke. That's terrible.
Well, the new tool that they use now is called NET. The NET, or I think the NET Evaluator tool, and it basically prioritizes how well you beat teams in your conference. And Tennessee beat up on a very weak SEC, and Michigan State wasn't able to do that in the Big Ten. So it's
the
not
Big
my
Ten's a much
apologies.
tougher conference than the SEC.
I hate to cut this conversation short because it's getting
I guess you could say things are getting pretty
Sorry to
serious.
get heated. All
I
right.
guess
it's getting pretty serious.
And in the end of the day, to be a national champion, you have to win, no matter who you play. It's all about winning.
And that doesn't take away from the fact I still think State has a very good chance this year.
Mhm.
I'm just saying I don't think that they were robbed, and that's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to give each of you 60 seconds to give me one thing that stands out to you about the bracket this year. And then we're going to get into dissecting this whole entire thing and making the official views from the sideline bracket. I feel like Joey is always prepared and ready, so I'm going to hit Joey first. What stands out to you?
What stands out to me? I'm very surprised that Michigan is a 2 seed. I'll be honest. Just because for them to only be 2 seeds lower than Michigan State and to lose to Michigan State 3 times, they definitely took into the account of Michigan's early game season, which I don't know if it's super fair. I do think that Michigan should have maybe been a 3 seed in this, especially with Michigan State being a 2. But the weirdest part, they're playing Montana again.
Yeah, you end up in the West again. You end up playing Montana again. It's like you said, very weird.
Chris, I think the one thing I noticed is that I think the bottom half of this bracket is very winnable for non-number 1 seeds, and I'll say that I think any team from the 4, 5, 6 and on up, I think has a really good chance to get to the Final Four. It's very balanced this year. I really don't think that the committee went too far out of their reach. I will say this, though, and as I have some notes here on some trends and things like that, and I'll get into it over the course of the broadcast or over the course of the show. I think the NCAA made the first round tough with some of these first 4 games that are being played. Belmont's a very good team that has a chance to go to the Sweet 16. So, but with that being said, the bottom half of the bracket, there could be a lot of fun in that bottom half heading into Minneapolis on April 2nd. Or April 6th, sorry.
I'm surprised all the some of these teams who got mid-major teams got in, like Belmont got in. I really wasn't surprised. I was really happy, but Belmont got in. But the teams that were left out, North Carolina State, Clemson, there were 2 teams that were ranked really high, but they both got left out, went to the NIT. And everybody knows about my Michigan State thing. I'm still very upset with that, but just surprised a couple of these teams got shafted, and teams like Arizona State and St. John's got in over North Carolina State and Clemson.
Malik?
If Indiana had even 2 more wins, their resume would be 10 times better than Ohio State's. Them getting in as an 11 seed shocked me. I don't think their resume is really. They beat bad teams. They were close against average teams, and they lost against good teams. They may have 1 or 2 pretty good wins, but I don't think that's enough to get you into the tournament.
Yeah.
Indiana beat Michigan State twice. They beat Marquette early in the season. They were a point away from beating Purdue. They held strong against other really good teams too. There's not really much difference between the two besides the fact that there were a lot of games where Indiana, their youth showed and they weren't coached well enough to hang with a lot of the big guys. But yeah, the Ohio State number 11 seed, I don't really understand it.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, guys. Let's do what we were here to do. Let's make the official bracket of views from the sideline. First matchup, we're starting in the East region. It is Duke versus the 16 seed, which will be the winner of NC Central or North Dakota State. That'll take place tomorrow night at 6:40 p.m. I know Sammy is picking the 16 seed in this one, so I'm going to start with him.
I'm not picking the 16.
Wait,
in this
what?
One. No, because we know about Joey Tyson's love for UMBC, and your love for UMBC as well, Chris. But
the entire country's love for UMBC.
Sadly, I can't stand Duke. I hate Duke. I got to get Duke this one.
You might as well just write down Zion on the bracket. Don't write Duke. Just
Right.
put Zion over whatever.
Does anybody have anything to really break down in this matchup? I mean, it's going to be a Duke
no.
clown show. So
I did. Duke's going to win. North Dakota State does shoot very well from three, though, so it could be a little bit closer if Duke does struggle.
they
But
might-
Duke's going to.
you're right.
Duke doesn't shoot the three well.
you're right. It might be a 25-point win instead of a 35-point win.
Watch out. If RJ Barrett, Zion, Cam Reddish, Trey Jones, if they go down in this game, watch out for the upset.
If that starting five goes out, boy, things change dramatically.
You're saying you're not a Jack White fan?
I mean, I'm not saying I'm
North
not a
Dakota
fan,
State's the
but
Bison.
Get those walk-ons in the game.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying.
Yep.
Get the walk-ons.
Yep.
And then we'll move right on down to the 8-9 matchup in the bracket in the East region. It's VCU versus UCF. VCU comes into this one 25-7, finishing out the year. UCF 23-8. Garrett, I want to start with you on this one. What do you see in this matchup in this 8-9? This is a very interesting one.
VCU ranks 7th in the country in terms of defensive efficiency, according to KenPom.com, only averaging 88.6 points per 100 possessions in the country. And that doesn't go very well for the big style of basketball that UCF plays. They have Taco Fall, the 7'6" extraordinaire, who plays in the middle for Johnny Dawkins and his team. I think VCU is actually going to win this. I think it's going to, be a lockdown game. It's not going to be anything exciting, but I got the Rams of VCU.
Joey, what about you? Who do you got in this one and why?
I'm going the opposite. I'm going with UCF. I've liked watching UCF this whole season. I mean, maybe it's the Taco Fall factor.
Yeah.
He's an interesting guy to see, but they just shoot really efficiently. They're a very efficient team on offense, and VCU's not necessarily the team that they used to be, back a couple of years ago. And just from watching UCF play, I just like their style of play. They kind of slow it down a little bit. Like I said, that's where you get efficient. And a lot of these teams that run slower paced offenses and there's a lot too that are focused on defense that we'll see later in this bracket. They can always make noise because they're not gonna beat everybody by a lot, but they're gonna always be in games, and that's dangerous.
So UCF, lock it in for Joe. Sammy, what do we got?
I got VCU. I think that as mentioned, VCU, looking at Garrett's stats and all that fun stuff, but I just think that
Hey, there's no stealing research in this show.
But I don't trust UCF shooting the ball, especially because they have that 7'6" guy in the interior. But I just think VCU a little bit more discipline.
Gotcha.
I think they will win that one.
Malik, what you got?
I'm going UCF.
Ooh,
I feel
tied.
like they
2-2.
they played in a surprisingly nobody expected the AAC to be as top heavy as it was. Those top four teams, you have Cincinnati, Houston, you have UCF, who was a lot better than people expected, and Temple was also a very good basketball team. They didn't have a very easy conference schedule to go through, and they still ended up with 22, 23 wins. So yeah, they beat Houston. They played every game tough. They're experienced. They're very well coached, and I think UCF pulls it out.
So I already get the first tiebreaker. Man, I already like this a lot. I'm a sucker for NBA prospects. I always give them the benefit of the doubt. I like Taco. Give me UCF over VCU.
It's also Tuesday, so it's Taco Tuesday.
It's only
And
right.
Former
right.
Michigan player Aubrey Dawkins coming off as the sixth man for UCF. Got to support Aubrey.
Moving on to the 5-12 matchup, it's Mississippi State at number 5 against number 12, Liberty. All right. We started with Joey last time. Let's go Malik. What you seeing in this one?
I think this game is close for a majority, but I think in the end, Mississippi State pulls it out. They have the talent difference is really going to show. Lamar Peters is one of the most electric guards in the country. He hasn't shown it a lot this year, but in the past year and sometimes this season, he's shown it. They also have some very talented true freshmen and experience with Quindary Witherspoon. He's a really good two guard that gets overshadowed in the SEC. So I think Mississippi State has what it takes to pull it out in the end.
Sammy,
Normally, I love the 5-12 upset. I love it.
you're not loving it this year?
I don't see in this game. I really don't see the 5-12 upset. I think that Mississippi State, the talent will be the difference maker here. Now, I think Mississippi State's going to win this game. I think it would be maybe 10 points.
Garrett.
I'm going to echo both what Malik and Sammy said. I think it's going to be close for a little bit. Really good guard play. Mississippi State's going to carry the Bulldogs past Liberty. This could be one of those 5-12s people want to pick, but I think the Bulldogs are too skilled and too experienced.
Joseph Tysick.
I guess I'll give the opposite. I think Mississippi State's going to give this away, but I'll give you reasons why Liberty could win this game.
You think they're going to give this game away? So you're
no,
picking
I think they're going to win this game. I think Mississippi State's going to win.
Oh, okay.
But I'll give the facts for why Liberty can win. I just talked about slowest pace offense. Liberty is the slowest pace offense in the country. They shoot super efficiently. They're above 50% from the floor from 2-pointers. They're almost 40% from 3. They're one of the best free throw shooting teams. So if it's a late in game and it's slow pace, it's close. If Liberty by chance has a lead with a couple minutes to go and they're shooting free throws, there's a chance that they could pull this off. I do agree with you guys though that Mississippi State, just talent-wise, should win this game, but there's a chance that Liberty could do this.
Yeah, and I'm going to echo what Joey said there. Talent-wise, I think it's too much for Liberty to overcome. I think it's a clean sweep, Mississippi State, from the whole crew here. What's up, Garrett?
Mississippi State shoots 55%, as Joey mentioned, adjusted field goal percentage. So, down the stretch, being efficient offensively and using that guard play is going to help Mississippi State, echoing what Joey just said.
Yeah. Moving on to the 4-13 matchup. Virginia Tech versus St. Louis. I'm picking Virginia Tech. This is not even going to be a close game. I wanted to say something to kind of get people on their edge of the seat, but I like Virginia Tech this year. I'm picking Virginia Tech. What you got, Malik?
In the past 5 or 6 games, Virginia Tech they've been kind of sloppy. They've given up some games that could have given them a lead in the ACC. Their lead 2-guard, Justin Robinson, has been hurt. I think he's coming back in this game. So they have a clear advantage in this game from coaching, talent. They have all the advantages. I don't think there's going to be a 13-4 upset.
Sammy, what you got?
I watched St. Louis and St. Bonaventure. I watched that championship game. St. Louis can't hit free throws. They can't hit free throws. What makes you think they're going to go in and beat Virginia Tech? Virginia Tech blowout city of St.6
Agreed. Garrett, anything that stands out to you?
The Hokies shoot 39% from behind the long line. They got 3 guys who shoot. Actually, they got 6 guys who shoot above or close to 40% from beyond the long line. This should just be raining threes all day. The Hokies, I think, will dominate the Billikens.
Joey, anything you want to chime in on?
No, I'm going to throw in the same thing. I mean, anytime you have a good 3-point shooting team in a tournament, they're always dangerous. Yes, they can blow some games, but I don't think that's going to be against St. Louis. I also watched the St. Louis-St. Bonaventure game. They didn't look all that great. I think St. Bonaventure kind of threw that game away, and I just don't think that – I think St. Louis kind of lucked into the tournament, which is fun. It's cool, but I don't see them beating Virginia Tech.
I will say anybody who's on NBA Prospect Watch, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, very good young guard for the Hokies. Definitely watch out for him. I could see him being a late first-round guy, a very value pick as well at the professional level.
Moving on, it's the 6-11 matchup in the East region. Maryland at number 6 versus the winner of tonight's game, the later game, Belmont and Temple.
Can I set this up?
You want to set this up?
I want to set this
I'll
up.
let you set this one up.
So I'm going to preface this by saying that one of the things I've noticed each and every year since they've had the first 4 in there has been one 11 seed that has won, or either an 11 or 12 seed has won one game in the NCAA tournament. And I think that continues this year. Now, this is predicated on me thinking that Belmont's going to beat Temple tonight. And I'm going to take Belmont over Maryland. Belmont shoots the lights out of the gym. I'm concerned about Maryland's inability to shoot effectively down the stretch. They get into a lot of foul trouble. They turn the ball over quite a bit. They've really faded down the stretch in a very tough Big Ten. So I would take Belmont as the 6-11 upset here, assuming Belmont wins. And even if Temple still wins, I think this is a bad setup for Maryland.
And I agree with you completely. I have Belmont winning the game tonight, and I had Belmont beating Maryland in my bracket as well, for all the reasons that you just listed out. Malik, what you got in this one?
I think Belmont does win, and I think they could be a very dangerous matchup for Maryland. But I feel like Maryland down low, they're 4-5 with Jalen Smith and Bruno Fernando. I think that will eventually be too much for Belmont, even with them being such a good shooting team. I think Maryland is good enough defensively to where they're going to lock down.
22nd ranked in the country in defensive efficiency.
And, yeah, I think Maryland ends up getting this one. And in the end, I don't think it's close. I think they build a little bit of confidence, 14, 15-point win.
Sammy.
I'm torn in this because I thought I
can go to Joe if you want a couple more minutes.
Yeah, go to Joe.
All right, Joe.
All right, this one is another one that I really contemplated. It's sort of unfair because I have two different brackets in my family league, but that's just how it works. So I picked Maryland in one, Belmont in another.
Now you got to hit that.
So this is the finalized. I think everybody's going to want the Belmont upset. They have NBA talent. I just think Maryland's going to figure it out. And if Maryland figures it out, they are a good team.
Joe.
Hey, I said a couple weeks ago, Bruno Fernando is one of my favorite players to watch in the Big Ten. He's kind of exciting. And I just think that I agree with Malik. I think their defense could really step up here. And all they got to do is get some baskets. And I think just, playing in the Big Ten, grinding out games, that prepares you for the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to win this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if Belmont can figure something out.
You know what?
Sammy, what's your
In
deciding
my bracket, now it's subject to change here. I had Maryland. But Belmont reminds me a little bit of Loyola Chicago a little bit.
Ooh.
So
hey, don't bring in Loyola. This is a sacred team.
You know what?
I think Belmont's actually more talented.
You know what?
Okay, Joe.
You know what?
They are.
You know what? Give me Belmont in this one. I'm taking Belmont to not only win against Temple, but also knocking off Maryland.
I like it, Sammy. Yeah, you go big or you go home on this show. That's what we do. Moving on. It's the 3-14 matchup. LSU versus Yale. There's been a lot of people talking about LSU on upset alert against Yale. Sammy's waving at me. I think Garrett, did you? I'm just going.
No, I was saying
Sammy. What you got to say on this one?
I got Yale in this one.
Why is that?
Here's why. Watch LSU in Florida. LSU did not look very good. And, of course, their head coach is facing a criminal investigation. That's been a distraction for LSU.
Come on.
Yes, it has. So I'm picking, and I really like what Yale has played. I like this Yale team. They got some athletes. I think Yale's going to pull out the upset here against LSU.
Listen, I think they aren't the same team without Will Wade. It's clearly shown they aren't led the same way. And
they're not even together.
And Yale, they played one hell of a game against Harvard. They played a great game against Harvard last Sunday. They were hot. They were shooting it. They have an NBA prospect at their power forward position. They have shooters at the guard position. They have a really good big man. But I don't think at the end of the day they'll be able to. I'm going with LSU.
You seem very disgruntled in that opinion.
I'm with.
That's not
because
look at the confidence. There is no confidence,
from
Garrett.
The beginning of the season, they have been a team to look out for me.
Yes,
and they
Malik is trying to sell himself on his opinion.
They played above my expectations.
No, Malik is right, but I will say this: I think this is going to be a very close game. Yale has good shooters. Yale plays a fast tempo offense. I agree. I think Skylar Mays, Javonte Smart, really solid guard play. I know Will Wade's not there, but still, Skylar Mays is a very promising young player that could have NBA caliber in the future.
And Naz Reid is a stud prospect.
Naz Reid, very tenacious defender as well, too. My concern with LSU is they don't shoot very well from three, so if Yale guards that perimeter, forces them to take a lot of long shots.
That's a big thing in the tournament,
and
Garrett.
that could be a major issue, but Emmett Williams coming off the bench, 60% shooting from the field.
You're
so
making
that is
a bad
something.
decision.
So I'm going to go with the Tigers here.
Garrett, look at me right now. All right, heart-to-heart conversation.
You don't know
quick.
whether or not it's a bad decision. You don't know.
You don't know. Believe in Yale.
I think you're missing a potential big upset that could really put the views from the sideline bracket to the next level.
I remember when Yale scared Baylor Well, they beat Baylor actually.
They
Didn't
beat Baylor.
They
Never mind.
beat Baylor.
They beat
Never
Baylor.
mind.
They beat
Never
Malik,
Baylor.
do you want to switch? Do you want to switch your pick,
No.
Garrett? You're still locked in on LSU.
Locked in.
I'm
Joey?
locked on Yale.
Joey,
Ivy League
wait,
wins
should I?
only
Let me,
happen-
hold on,
So you're Yale.
Wait.
I
Yeah, let
believe
me go
Let
first.
you go. I'll be the swing.
I'm Yale. I'm Sammy on this one.
Listen.
I don't like LSU this year. There's too much distractions going on. They don't shoot the ball well from behind the perimeter. Yale is a solid perimeter defending team. I'm taking Yale. This is a perfect storm for Yale. Give me Yale.
All right, so I get to be the swing vote
You're the
for
swing
once.
vote.
I love this. Okay.
Break
so
it
let's
down for us.
Let's take a look at this. Yale, Ivy League school, always known for shooting threes. What kind of teams do I like to watch in the tournament? Teams that shoot threes and make threes. They're always on upset alert. LSU's got distractions.
Thank
They're
you.
having some issues, but they're too talented. LSU.
What?
They're too talented.
Thank you.
It's not going to matter. You know, a coach does do a lot, but I think deeper in tournaments is where the coach matters. Right now, it's just the players are the ones that play the game. The coach can only do so much at a time, and I think in this case,
but if
the
he's-
talent is too much where it's not going to matter.
But
LSU.
But if he's your emotional leader, your head coach is to be there with you guys, then this team has been distracted enough.
It's not like his
There's-
assistants aren't there, though.
There's also a chance that
And
Florida loss woke them up.
They look
And they
they
have-
look disinterested.
Or
LSU.
it's the Florida loss shows that this team is not going to beat Yale.
That's the.
They're not beat.
That loss right there showed it's over.
It's over.
It's,
You guys,
that's
you
it.
guys will thank me on Thursday. It's okay.
You will thank me. Actually, no, you won't. You'll be regretting by not taking my opinion or Sammy's. Moving on. 7th seed Louisville versus the 10th seed Minnesota. Who wants this one first? Yeah, Malik. Let's go, Malik.
I do not trust Minnesota one bit. They have shooting droughts where they cannot hit a single 3-pointer. There are times where their offense, it looks like they don't run an offense. They just get sloppy. They look disinterested a lot of times. But there are also times where they'll just pull out a big win and play hard. They're too inconsistent for me. Chris Mack has been extremely impressive in his first season coaching at Louisville. Jordan Nwora has turned into an NBA prospect, going from, I think, like 4 points a game his freshman year to 17 this year. When Louisville gets it going, they showed, even though they completely fell apart against Duke, this isn't a Duke matchup. They showed what they can do when they're running at all cylinders and they can get it going. Louisville.
Sammy.
This is a team that falls apart in a ton of games.
Are you talking about Louisville?
Louisville, not about. I mean, you mentioned Duke. They almost lost to Clemson.
And they also beat North Carolina. They completely
Ooh.
And they beat
Ooh.
MSU, and they beat your beloved Spartans. Let's be fair here. And
That was because Foster Lawyer blew that game. I mean, but I'm
Well, Foster
saying
Lawyer
here,
shouldn't be playing, but
I think Louisville does win this game because Minnesota's big. I believe it's in concussion protocol. I believe that's what I've been hearing. But I think that, and this is the Pitino Bowl. This is oddly enough, this is the Rick Pitino Bowl because you have his son coach in Minnesota, and then you have Louisville, of course. Rick Pitino famously at Louisville.
What a mark he's left on college basketball.
Yeah, so.
He'll be back soon.
But I think
He'll be back.
But I think Louisville will win this game over Minnesota.
Garrett, what you got?
Going with Malik. This is easy. Chris Mack has done a heck of a job in his first season at Louisville with basically a patchwork roster. Give me the Cardinals. This won't be close.
Joseph.
Minnesota is an exaggerated version of the Michigan Wolverines. Kind of where Malik said they can go in droughts, and they went in a drought against Michigan in the Big Ten tournament, and it looked ugly.
It's even worse.
That's why I said it's exaggerated. Minnesota is still one of my favorite dark horses in the Big Ten, but Louisville, Garrett, you can check me if I'm wrong, but I believe they had the toughest schedule in the country. I know they're up there in toughest schedules. So they've played a lot of tough teams. They know how to play tough teams and big games, and I don't think they'll take Minnesota for granted. I think Louisville should win this game.
Yeah, and I'm on board. It's a clean sweep. Louisville definitely had the tougher schedule. That was the biggest thing for me. Teams that go through tougher schedules usually pan out better in the tournament. The last round one matchup in the East region. Sammy's most hated team, the Michigan State Spartans,
My most hated team. I love Michigan State.
and the 15 seed Bradley. I'm just messing with
They're
you,
going to
Sammy.
blow out Bradley. It won't be
Bradley is
close.
going to win.
No,
So
they're
Sammy-
not.
So Sammy is picking Bradley. If we
No,
have,
I am not. I got Michigan
If
State.
MSU loses, Sammy is buying us all lunch.
deal. It's round one, Sammy.
M.
You know,
T,
I'm
S,
a team.
U,
Trust your team.
M, T,
Trust your team.
You got
S,
no faith
U.
in your team in
Trust
round
your
one?
I do have plenty of faith in Michigan
Okay.
State, especially Cassius Winston, Nick Ward getting back healthy. I think that's going to be huge in this matchup. I think that I know Bradley's got a very good player, but I just think Michigan State, the way that they're capable of playing, they're going to be fine.
Sammy, why don't you just come out and admit it already? You're going to have MSU as your national champion. Like,
Whoa,
this isn't a secret.
Sammy, don't say anything yet.
Every game blowout.
But Garrett, what you
Michigan
got?
State runs through everybody.
I'm not a Michigan State or Michigan guy, but victory for MSU. Give me the Spartans.
Joseph.
Last time the Michigan State was a 2 seed.
I know.
M, T, S, U.
Middle Tennessee State.
Uh-oh.
I still remember the phone calls I got from Bob Bridges on that.
That ain't happening again. Michigan State's good.
Thank
They're
you.
going to win this game.
Thank you.
Malik,
Michigan State.
I just wanted to say Bradley, just to switch it up. No, it's a clean sweep. MSU. They're riding too much of a high right now. This team has such a chip on their shoulder at the perfect time. I think they're gonna have a really deep run in the tournament this year. All right, West Region round 1, Gonzaga versus the winner of F. Dickinson and Prairie View. A great
Airfield
matchup.
Dickinson?
Yes.
Barely Dickinson, whatever. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great matchup, guys. Joey, you're picking the upset, right?
No.
Oh.
You know, the play-in game for this is pretty exciting. 2 of the longest named schools in this tournament, I feel like.
Fairleigh Dickinson's first NCAA berth.
That's kinda cool.
Congratulations to them for that.
They
pretty
were in
exciting.
last year.
Hmm?
They were in last year.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
They said this was Fairleigh Dickinson's
No.
first.
All right, Garrett, fact
Anyway,
check
we'll
yourself.
let the stat guy get those.
No fake news
Yeah.
in here.
Gonzaga's winning. There's
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
way.
Guys, let's just save ourselves.
Yeah,
some
save
time.
ourselves, yeah.
We're going clean sweep Gonzaga.
Gonzaga.
You should never pick the 16 over the 1.
Unless
Hey,
you're
Joe,
way.
Joe, you
Either
gotta live
way.
life on the edge
No
sometimes.
matter what.
Unless you're UMBC.
What is it? 135 and 1?
Unless
Yeah.
you're UMBC.
Malik.
Or you could trust
Fairleigh
Virginia.
Dickinson has gone to the tournament 6 times
Oh,
in their
Who was
history.
who-
First
why'd
time
they say it
since
was the
2016.
Then there's a team
it
that
Prairie
it's
View?
their first.
Is that their first time?
I think ESPN made a mistake. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
remember
think so.
seeing that. Yeah, I think they made a mistake.
I think so.
the 8-9 matchup in the West region.
Ooh.
Syracuse versus Baylor.
Ooh.
Baylor has been a big surprise
You know,
this season.
I'll start this one off.
Ooh.
I'm never huge on Syracuse, but I always pick them in my tournament. I always pick them. And I'm just going to stick with it. Syracuse, for no other reason that I just always have them advancing at least one game in the NCAA tournament. Joey?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Syracuse is always dangerous in the tournament, no matter how good or bad they are in the season. When you play a zone defense that's that good that nobody else can play, that's always super dangerous. And it throws a lot of teams off. We've seen Michigan State fall to it before. We've seen a lot of good teams fall to it, even when Syracuse isn't at their top level. And I think that's an X factor that they always bring into a game because so many zone defenses they're not very good on rotations. Syracuse works on it every single day. It's what they're known for, and it just makes them a dangerous team no matter what, no matter who you have to face. And I don't think that Baylor is good enough to deal with it.
Garrett?
Boeheim patented 2-3 zone. I think in some ways they can be too guard heavy. Sometimes I do feel like they go as high as battle goes. Former Michigan prospect, former Penn State guy, now landed with the Orange, but I don't think this is going to be close. I think the Orange are going to, beat up handily on Baylor.
Oh, Sammy, what's your opinion on this one?
You know, I'm going to attribute this to Mike Griffin, the boys basketball coach at Sterling Heights. He runs a Jim Boeheim style 2-3 zone. He did it at Lake Orion with the girls basketball team. He's doing it with the boys basketball team at Sterling Heights. So, and it's very hard to shoot against that type of 2-3 zone and a very athletic one. So give me Syracuse.
Malik?
Doesn't matter whether they have Malachi Richardson, Michael Carter-Williams. As long as they play that 2-3 zone that tough with long athletic guys and they have at least 2 shot creators, Syracuse is going to make it to the Sweet 16 usually because teams aren't ready for it. And those few shot creators always figure out a way to push them ahead.
Yeah, yep.
Syracuse.
Can't. Yeah, everyone's going Syracuse on this one. So that means Baylor's gonna win this one. Moving on.
Oh yeah, right.
We have Marquette versus Murray State.
I'm starting this one.
Garrett's starting this one.
I hope
Garrett,
you start it right because I'm with you if you start it right.
Start it up.
I'm with you.
So I'm going to preface this by saying bottom half of the bracket is usually where you see a lot of your 4-13, 5-12 upsets, and this is kind of going back to right around the 2010, 2011 Final Four. I know there's a consensus that people want to pick Murray State. Ja Morant, obviously one of the 2 best players in the country, shooting 50% from the floor, eating a ton of minutes, a ton of time. They also gutted out a very good win against, I believe it was Belmont, to try and get into the tournament. If you can barely beat Belmont, in my opinion,
whoa, we're
that's
picking
not-
Belmont as an upset.
something to me still tells me that the experience that Marquette has with Marcus
Man.
Howard, Sam Hauser, they shoot well from 3. This could be one of those games, but I think in the end, Marquette pulls this off.
Way to start it off.
Are you serious? You're going against Murray State.
I'm going with the Fighting Ja Morant.
I am going with Murray
in this
State.
game. Listen, Marquette has fallen completely flat in the last 2 weeks of the season. Lose to Georgetown at home, lose to Seton Hall, lose in the Big East tournament. They have no momentum. Marcus Howard looks dead tired. He's just throwing up shots at this point, and not a lot of them are falling. The Hauser twins are basically the main reason why they're pulling out wins at this point. They don't have a lot. Besides them, they don't really have shot creators. I think Murray State wins this one.
I think they win it handily too. I'm gonna say Murray State by double digits. Joey, what you got?
This one's tough for me because if Marquette plays at their best, they should pretty easily win
That's
this
a
game.
very that's an
Right.
if.
No, I
Very
understand
big
that.
if.
But they have gotten some rest. And I love the matchup between Marcus Howard and Ja Morant. That's going to be exciting. My only question for Murray State is if Ja Morant has a somewhat bad game, they're in trouble. He's kind of like their guy. If he doesn't go, they don't go.
Yeah.
So that's the only concern. Like Marquette does have a little bit more depth with the Hauser boys and then Marcus Howard. But, man, I want to go with Murray State.
Just
I'm going to
do
go
it.
with Chris and go with the NBA prospect here.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go with Murray State upsetting Marquette. But although Marquette could make a run.
All right, in the 4-13 matchup, it's Florida State versus Vermont.
They kept UMBC from getting back into the tournament. It hurt my heart. It really did. Vermont put the smack down on UMBC. Yeah.
Are you picking Vermont?
No, Florida State. I'm picking
Seminoles.
Florida State.
I think we're all
Yeah.
picking the Seminoles.
Florida
in this one,
State.
right? Gary, you got anything you want to chime in on?
Although Vermont is a good team, and don't they have twins at their guards?
I think
that shoot
so.
the lights out.
I
Yeah.
think so.
They have a pretty
Florida
good
State's
team.
step too much.
I'll say this.
Florida State's too big.
I actually think Florida State could be a team that you secretly, if Gonzaga falls, this is a very good Florida State team, maybe better than what they were last year, and they lost arguably their best player in Terrence Mann last year. I do think that this is a very good Seminoles team, and if you're filling out a bracket and you're looking for a non-number 1 seed to make it to a Final Four potentially, I would put the Seminoles in there. They're just completely balanced and played in a very tough conference and really persevered the last month or so of the season.
I completely agree with you. Let's lock in Florida State.
Actually, Terrence Mann is still there. Sorry about that.
Wow, Garrett. You are our fact checker. Florida State moves on. Then number 6, it's the 6-11 matchup. It's Buffalo versus Arizona State or St. John's, the winner of that game, which happens tomorrow night at 9:10 p.m. Joey, I've heard you're a big Sun Devils guy.
No.
Oh,
Not exactly.
But I do think that Arizona State's going to beat St. John's. I think St. John's has really limped into this tournament. I don't know. They kind of just miraculously made it in. I think Arizona State's a better team. And I think a lot of people will be sleeping on Buffalo because, they're not a major conference and they're a 6th seed.
Although early in the season everybody was believing
Right,
in
they were
Buffalo
kind of-
because they were winning. Yeah,
Right.
every
And then you
game.
see some of their flaws. So I think people are going to still take Buffalo a little for granted here in this tournament. But I still think Arizona State has a good chance to upset them, and I think Arizona State's going to do it.
wow, that took a turn. I thought you were locking in Buffalo for sure. All right, Garrett.
Buffalo is one of the most disciplined teams in the country. I love
That means they're boring. That means they're not moving on.
Hey, guess what? They blew out Arizona last year completely with all that 5-star talent.
Oh, wait, are we?
Pick.
Is
and
this,
Alonzo
wait,
Trier, who's one of the best players on the Knicks right now.
Is this tournament happening in 2018 or is this 2019?
They got better
Chris,
and brought
Chris.
back all of their players, Chris.
Yeah, they
Chris.
got better, Chris.
My
Makes
bracket,
sense, doesn't
my
it?
bracket says
Makes
2019.
Yeah, my bracket says
okay.
29.
They got better and returned every player.
Mine shows that as well. Buffalo ranks top 10 in the country and in possession. They push the ball up the floor. C.J. Massenberg is arguably their best player. Dante Carruthers. They've got a few other guys that can really stretch the ball, shoot from there. Not as maybe good on the three-point line as I'd like for them to be, but they're deep, they're solid, and they have a local coach in Nate Oates who's leading those guys. Give me the Bulls all day.
Give me Buffalo. Give me Buffalo.
You know, I'll chime in before I let Malik chime in because I'm picking Arizona State.
Oh, come on.
I'm rocking with Joe on this one.
Bobby Hurley.
Bobby Hurley. And I want to give Malik.
You're not real Duke fans. Don't shout out Bobby.
No, I'm not.
Exactly.
I want to give Malik the opportunity to be a swing vote and sway our opinions. But I'm locking in Arizona State. Who you got, Malik?
Arizona State is a team that started out the season hot. They started gaining expectations. Lou Dortz has been one of the best freshman players in the country. Then they hit Pac-12 play. Pac-12. This is the worst Pac-12. Pac-10 in the past 20, 30 years. This conference has been terrible. Washington ended up coming out because nobody wanted to play up to any type of real standards. Arizona State has become a team that plays to their competition. If they play bad teams, they don't play very well. If they play really good teams, they step it up. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. They have talent, but they don't play hard consistently. And it seems like Bobby Hurley just kind of, all his screaming and ranting up and down the sidelines, at times it just seems like they're just like, come on, coach. We're trying to play. We're trying to win. Like, calm down. I'm taking Buffalo. I trust them to win this game.
I thought Oregon came out of the Pac-12. They won the tournament.
They did win the
Yeah.
They won the
they
tournament.
won the tournament.
But yeah, Washington was the
Guys, we need some upsets in
regular
this,
season.
man. Come on. We need some upsets. This is
Upsets
getting
are
boring.
coming. Upsets are coming.
I hope so.
Upsets are coming.
And moving at what we have. We're at the 3-14 matchup. Texas Tech versus Northern Kentucky. I like Texas Tech this year. I really do. I think they're a strong team. I'm locking in Texas Tech.
I like them in this matchup, but I don't trust Texas Tech going forward.
Why is that?
Ooh.
I just don't trust them. I mean, you got a team in Buffalo, you know what I mean? And we'll talk next round about this,
Yeah.
but I just think that anytime I just don't trust Texas Tech because at times they might have some issue
Get
offensively.
complacent?
They get complacent, yes.
Malik?
Texas Tech has a top 10 NBA prospect in Jarrett Culver.
Maybe that's why I like them.
They're extremely well coached, and they play hard. They have some really good shooters and some depth. Texas Tech.
Give me the Red Raiders. As Malik mentioned, a very deep, very balanced team. They got 3 guys shooting at or above 40% from behind the long line. Matt Mooney is going to be a guy to watch out for in this tournament. I think he could really break out for the Red Raiders, so this should be no issue whatsoever.
Joe, rocking the same?
Northern Kentucky almost lost to OU.
Yeah.
They did lose to OU early in the year.
Texas Tech.
They did lose to Oakland early in the year.
This is actually one of my favorite matchups in the first round. Nevada versus Florida.
I want to start on this.
Ooh.
I'm going to let Malik start on this one just because I feel like he should. What you got, Malik?
Nevada is a team that I don't know if I want to touch Nevada right now.
Really?
They
Why is that?
They end the season on a bad note.
They're the weirdest team in the country.
Utah State takes hold of the WAC and wins that conference. Nevada's fighting them in the locker room. They depend on 3 guys, basically the Martin twins, and I forgot the other.
Jordan Caroline.
Yeah, and Jordan Caroline. Besides them, it seems like they have depth, but they don't have confidence in the rest of their team. They depend on those 3 guys. This is a team that is a top 10 team when they're playing at their highest, but they've shown so many flaws to where it seems like they don't want to play as a team on a consistent basis. And it seems like they peaked too early. I'm going with Florida.
Really?
Florida's playing hard. They're playing like a team. They beat LSU in the SEC tournament. They believe in themselves. They believe that.
Yeah,
I
you
think
still
they're gonna
picked
win that
LSU to win. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sammy, what you got?
I got Nevada because now, yes, you said about the infighting, but sometimes it brings a team together.
Also
and
true.
and I think, Nevada, as you mentioned, Malik, when they're on their best, they're a top 10 team. And Nevada has been ranked in top 10 during the season. So give me the Wolfpack in this one. I think Nevada will be too much for Florida. And I think, as mentioned, those Twins are going to take over that game.
G-Man.
Florida's been on a tear. They've been one of the hottest teams in the country. They were 3-12 this year against teams in the top 50 with the net, but at the same time, look at the conference they played in. Unfortunately, they hit Kentucky, Tennessee, LSU. It seemed like they hit them all at the wrong time if you're a Gator fan. I want to go with Nevada. I like Nevada, but I am going to go with the Gators here. I do think that defense is going to be very, very strong and very precise. The only thing that could bite them in the butt, though, Nevada only averages 10 turnovers a game. They have a very good ability to control the basketball, and if they can get that going, shooting, there could be some problems there, but give me the Gators.
If Nevada doesn't play good team basketball, Florida will take advantage of every mistake they make.
Joey.
Florida's another one of those big defensive teams. They slow down a lot of guys. They also cause a lot of turnovers, so that'll be an interesting matchup to see. Nevada doesn't turn it over, but Florida makes teams turn the ball over. With Nevada being basically three guys being their scorers, and Florida being a very heavy defensive team that are really good at getting out on the perimeter, stopping guys from getting shots. If they at all start to stop the Martin twins or Caroline, it's going to be really tough for Nevada. And I'm kind of with Garrett here where I want Nevada to win, but I just think Florida is the better team right now. I think the SEC has really surprised me personally, but I think a lot of people are surprised about how strong the SEC has been this season. So I think just with that strength of schedule, I think Florida's going to win this game.
I had Nevada picked in my bracket, but you guys bring up actually a lot of really good points that I could definitely see Florida knocking off Nevada. Moving on. 2-15 matchup. Michigan, Montana.
Was this a rematch last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know Malik is going to start this one off with picking Montana. And then just what you got, Malik, really?
Michigan.
No, you're not even there's no breaking this one down. It's just Michigan.
Yeah.
It's going to be a blowout. Big time. That means he just jinxed them.
And let me guess, Sammy's going to go Montana. He's going to say Michigan's a fraud. And Montana's going to the Sweet 16. I already know this.
Sammy?
Are you questioning me?
Yes.
I actually thought about the upset here.
Of course you did.
I thought about it.
Of course
But then
you did.
again, I just decided to why not give Michigan a chance to move on to the next round? Just give me Michigan.
Garrett.
Go Blue.
Go Blue.
Montana lost by 26 to Creighton. That's their
Moving on.
notable game.
Moving on to the
Tyson
Midwest.
takes. Good Tyson takes.
Moving on to the Midwest region. Nothing more needs to be said after that. We'll start with the 1-16 matchup. It's North Carolina, who probably is the favorite for right now to win the national championship, versus number 16 seed Iona. Should I pick Iona
No.
for the 16 seed match?
No.
But Sammy, hear me out.
No.
No. Hear me out.
Stop it.
Hear me
There is
out.
no hearing me
Hear
out.
me out.
UMBC was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Listen. 16 seeds are riding a hot wave right now. They just won
Virginia
a
had
game last year.
Virginia had DeAndre Hunter out. Listen, come on now. Come on, listen.
We can get to our 116
Chris.
upset in the next one where Sammy's going to pick Gardner Webb.
I'm just messing. I got North Carolina.
It was Gardner Webb.
North Carolina.
Gardner Webb is the team that's making their first NCAA appearance.
Yes,
There it is.
that's what it
Gardner
was.
Webb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't think we need to really break this one down. It's North Carolina.
Yeah.
Moving on, 8-9 matchup. It's Utah State versus Washington. Joey, start us off on this one.
This is a good matchup.
Utah State is hot right now, and Washington is limping into this tournament. I think Utah State just has too much firepower. I think Utah State's
agree.
going to win this game.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Utah's hot. Washington is not at all. You ride the hot team in this situation.
Utah State, ride me, Utah State.
Garrett?
I'm going to go with the Aggies, Utah State.
Yep. Clean slate here. Malik, you have any opinion on this one?
I think there is a chance Washington surprises. They they coasted through the Pac-12 and lost in the championship to Oregon, which was surprising. So they coasted until they weren't, and that was a disappointing loss. But Washington still has a chance. People shouldn't sleep on them, but I'm also taking Utah State.
You know, a team that I think people should not sleep on this year is Auburn. I like Auburn this year. I think they're a dark horse to make some noise. Only thing that really stinks is that they play in the same region as North Carolina. But I like Auburn in this one against New Mexico State. They play New Mexico State is the 12th seed. I don't think this one's going to be close personally. I'm riding Auburn by a lot. Malik?
Auburn's guard play is out of this world right now. Jared Harper set the SEC on fire. Their forwards are playing really good. Austin Wiley is healthy now. He was a 5-star big man coming into Auburn. Bruce Pearl has them rolling right now. What they did to Tennessee, nobody expected that. They're yeah.
Malik, Sammy?
War Eagle.
Joey?
I really think New Mexico State's going to give them a scare.
Of course you do.
I think Auburn is a hot team, but I think New Mexico State is another one of those like 12 seeds that has the most chance, the highest possibility of making an upset here. So it's something you got to watch out for. I do think that Auburn is too good right now that they're going to pull this off. But don't be surprised if New Mexico State makes it close. They almost beat Kansas earlier on in the season.
All right, guys. Oh, you got something?
I didn't make my pick yet. I'm going to go with Auburn. I'm going to go with Auburn. I'm with Joey, though. It could be close because New Mexico State does push the ball, and that could go against the Bruce Pearl defense. They like to slow things down, be tenacious, make you stretch the shot clock out. But War Eagle.
War Eagle. I think I found my new Loyola. It's Northeastern.
Chris, listen.
I'm
Chris
picking
Pappas,
Northeastern
That is my
to
first
knock
big
off
upset.
Kansas.
That is my
First big upset.
big upset.
Give me Northeastern.
Yeah, give me Northeastern.
We're
too.
grinding this one out. I'm not even letting Joey say a word unless it's Northeastern. Joey, what do you have to say?
Kansas has a lot of injuries going on right now,
Northeastern.
but I still think they're going to win.
That's a 4-1 vote. Northeastern is the Loyola of 2019.
I'm not saying all that. I'm saying they win this game.
We'll get to it.
Northeastern.
What a team. What a team.
What a team.
Hey, we'll take this into account. Their abbreviation is NE. New England Patriots.
Oh boy.
Patriots
It
at
all
the tournament.
connects. It all comes together.
Oh, dear. It does.
Well, it was fun while it lasted. But moving on. 6 seed Iowa State versus 11 seed Ohio State. I think I'm going to get a lot of slack for this one. I'm picking the upset. I'm picking Ohio State. And for no reason,
Listen.
I can respect that because that's a feeling. I can
it's a
respect
feeling.
that.
It's
Listen.
just there's no logical basketball reason for me to pick Ohio State in this game, except deep down, I think the Buckeyes just pull it out.
Chris, leave.
While I feel like they
Chris.
shouldn't be in the NCAA tournament with Caleb Weston on that team. They are a much better basketball team.
I agree
They've
with
pushed
all
a
of
lot
you.
of teams. They've gotten a few guys going from the 3-point line, like Justin Aarons, true freshman. With Caleb Weston on the court, they're a much better basketball team. There is a chance they pull this off, but Iowa State is hot. They just won the Big 12 tournament. I'm going Iowa State.
Something-
O-H-I, no. Iowa State blows out Ohio State.
Cyclones.
Something you got to take into account is that Chris has been to Ohio one too many times
Oh,
recently,
man.
and that's probably part of it.
Yeah.
If only the Cavaliers could give Ohio State that edge there because I don't know, they beat
If only
Pistons
they
last
had the
night by
young bull
7.
Colin Sexton.
Exactly. But no, Iowa State's got 4 guys in double figures.
Wait, Joey, who'd
they,
you
they
pick,
pass
though?
the ball very well. Give me the Cyclones.
I'm
We're
going
all
with Iowa State.
Okay, going Iowa State.
They were my team earlier on when we were picking underrated teams. Malik went with LSU. I went with Iowa State.
3-14 matchup. It's Houston versus Georgia State. Sammy, you got this look in your eye. Like,
Ron Hunter. It's Ron.
Oh God.
Ron Hunter.
But Ron Hunter's going home early on. I got Houston.
Garrett.
Give me Houston.
Actually wearing bare feet right now. Tribute to Ron Hunter.
Hey, I'm gonna go with the Georgia State upset
Oh.
just because I like Ron Hunter. I'm going with that Georgia State magic again.
You talk about feelings.
They shoot threes.
Joey,
They shoot threes.
I can't remember his first name, but Simons for Georgia State is a star. He's going to be an NBA player.
Do you remember a few years ago, R.J. Hunter?
They shoot the ball. They're athletic. I'm taking Georgia State over
Let's
Houston.
go, Chris. Be the swing. This could be our Loyola Chicago.
Here's the thing, guys. In my personal bracket, I really like Houston. But I'm a man of the people. And when I see a prime opportunity,
Ron Hunter, Cougars.
give me Ron Hunter.
Let's
It's
go.
Georgia State. Moving on. And Garrett
Garrett, you okay?
sulks in the corner.
You all right?
Sometimes it's just a feeling, Garrett. You'll know. Moving on.
Oh my God.
The 7th seed, Warford versus 10th seed, Seton Hall. Garrett, you look like you need to talk about a different matchup here. Can you elaborate on this one?
Wofford's one of the best shooting teams in the country from 3 and from just the field. They handle the ball very well. They don't turn it over. Fletcher McGee really impressed me this year, how he's rallied that Wofford Terrier squad. Give me the Terriers.
See, I like Fletcher McGee just because his name sounds cool, but I'm picking
Fletcher
Seton Hall.
McGee.
But I'm picking Seton Hall.
I got the pot. I got Seton Hall. Moving on.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Joey.
both of you.
I love the way the Seton Hall has been playing lately. Unfortunately, they lost the tournament to Villanova, but they've knocked off Kentucky. They've just looked really good. I think that if they get to the next round and they have to play Kentucky, there could be things that happen.
Whoa.
I will say, though, that Kentucky, you would be right there. 7 seeds, when they get there, especially teams that play hot, 7 or 10 seeds seem to knock out, teams
So,
that
Joey, you
cruise
locked
into
in
the
Wofford?
Seton Hall.
Oh,
Listen,
Garrett's got me confused.
this is one of the most interesting matchups of the first round to me because there is a player that has Kemba Walker, Shabazz Napier type tournament.
Okay, let's
East Coast
slow our
potential.
Malik.
You clearly haven't watched Miles Powell this season.
Hated it.
That's a bad take.
Miles Powell from New Jersey, East Coast boy, handle, deep range.
Stop.
He's 6'2". He has every bit of skill that you want in a guard. He has every bit of skill that you'd want to make a run in the tournament and just surprise everybody. Fletcher McGee and Wofford can shoot the lights out. But I'm going with Seton Hall.
Garrett's done. He's had a good show. He will be leaving.
Crazy
us at the
things
hour
happen
break.
in the tournament, Garrett. Crazy things happen.
This could be the best first round game.
You think?
I think so.
And then we have the 2:15 matchup: Kentucky versus Abilene Christian. Abilene Christian. I
Don't
even know how to-
disrespect
Yeah, I don't know
Abilene
about
Christian.
that.
Yeah.
Abilene
Okay.
Christian
Okay.
sometimes
Wait.
is a lot of heart.
Wait. Don't disrespect them. Pick them.
First
What kind of
tournament-
jump is
Pick
that?
them.
First tournament.
So what? I
appearance?
said their name wrong. Pick
Yep.
them.
Pick them.
First tournament. appearance.
Abilene Christian.
Whatever it is.
Abilene.
Kentucky's gonna blow 'em
All
out.
right.
Won't
Yeah.
be
Can we
close.
just? Yeah. Let's just. That's a Kentucky win. Moving on. Let's just move on.
Abilene Christian
Stop it.
lost to Texas Tech
Okay.
by 34.
Nice.
Our last round 1 region, the South region. Start with Virginia.
I don't trust Virginia.
Of course you don't.
Are you picking Gardner Webb?
Hey, Sammy, take a look at your bracket. Look down there. What does that say? Does that say 2018?
No, it doesn't. It's
What does it say?
2019.
Thank you.
I still don't trust Virginia. Even though Virginia, I think, will beat
Hey, Sammy,
Gardner Webb.
can you do me a favor and pick Gardner Webb?
I will give you $20 if you pick Gardner Webb.
You know what's
I
gonna
Oh,
picked
that's
happen?
Gardner
good.
Webb.
You know what's gonna happen in this
Wait,
game?
can we get in on this?
You know what's gonna happen in this
What?
game? It is going to be 15-15 with about 13 minutes left in the first half, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, upset alert!" And then Virginia is going to take the life out of Gardner Webb.
No, it's going to be Gardner Webb scores the first
Listen,
basket,
Yeah.
and people are going to freak out.
This game is going to be like 82-42 Virginia.
Yeah, let's.
And
we don't
that
have
those
to
first 6 minutes of the first half, people won't remember it. Gardner Webb is going to make it a fight in the beginning, and everybody's going to get scared.
That Virginia,
It'll be-
Virginia
yeah.
owns the fact they lost. with
Virginia is
16.
going to take their
They ain't gonna
souls.
lose twice,
No.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we're picking Virginia. I'm not even taking any more questions on this one.
Kyle Guy might put 40 on Gardner Webb just because.
Then we got the 8-9 matchup: Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Malik, what you got?
These are two interesting teams. Oklahoma has been up and down They've shown qualities of being a really good team, but they haven't been able to really put a stamp on it at any point. Ole Miss is also like that. They've played some really, really competitive games against top teams in the SEC. Kentucky, Tennessee. They had a chance to beat Tennessee at home, but they couldn't pull it out in the end. I feel like Ole Miss has a little bit more to win this game. I'm going with Ole Miss.
Give me Mississippi.
Garrett.
This one, I'm up in the air with this, boys. I'm probably just gonna go with the crowd here. I really can't make up my mind.
Oh, wait. Before you do that, if you're really, I got Oklahoma. Joey, what you got?
Ole Miss.
Oh, way to be anticlimactic.
I feel like Oklahoma just shouldn't even.
Well,
really
sorry,
be in the
I
tournament
stole your
almost.
thunder there, Garrett. I apologize. I thought Joey was going to be cool for once. Then we got the 5-12 matchup, Wisconsin versus Oregon. I'm picking Oregon.
This is gonna be one
This
of
is
the
this is gonna be a. I like Oregon to go to at least the Sweet 16 in this one.
What?
In
I
this
did
tournament.
it. Look, Chris.
Tell him, Garrett, please. Please.
Hey,
listen,
in the words of Malik Hill, crazy things happen in the
They
tournament.
do.
No, they do.
but not-
They do.
Not for teams like this.
No, not for an Oregon team that has looked absolute
guys-
trash. They looked like absolute trash when they lost their best player in Bowl. Okay, the 7 foot, the 7 foot center that
Don't
could
you
make
ever
it
say
rain.
Bull's name in vain.
They
Don't you ever.
managed to win a horrible Pac-12 tournament.
Yes,
and I
without
give
their
them
best
credit
player.
for that. Ethan Happ is going to bludgeon this team. This game is going to be so
Yes.
ugly.
Curran
It's gonna-
Iverson and Ethan
This
Happ.
game
are,
is going to be like 53-40 at the end. But
Ethan
Wisconsin is
Happ
going to
can't
win.
shoot free throws for
Thank
Kansas
you,
State.
Sammy.
I'm telling you,
Guess
Oregon's going to
18
pull
and 10.
off the upset
18 and
against Bucky.
10. Down low, nobody can stop Ethan Happ.
Ethan
Nobody on
Happ
Oregon
can't
can.
shoot free throws. They're just
That
going to have
doesn't
to
matter.
foul him.
It doesn't matter.
They're just going to fuck him and foul him.
Wisconsin's had the third toughest schedule in the country this year. They're battle tested.
Exactly.
This is a senior laden team. They might not be as good on up top at the guard play, but their forwards are lean, athletic, prototypical wing players on Wisconsin.
It's 2-2. Sammy and I rocking with Oregon. Garrett and Malik rocking with Wisconsin.
Whew.
Joey is a Big Ten slappy. I think I know where this is headed.
Chris, oh my Lord. Oregon.
If Oregon had Bowl,
Joey,
it might have swung
But
the
Joey,
difference.
Joey.
Big
here's,
ifs.
here's the thing you have to look.
Okay.
He's still on the roster sheet. So when the other team gets the roster sheet, they're like,
Listen,
Bowl.
is Peyton Pritchard going for 50? Is
And
that
then
what-
they-
Malik, Joey and I are having a
And
heart
then
to
they
heart
look
right
next
now.
to it and they realize injured.
Oh, we're fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
Just give it to Ethan
Yeah,
and move.
I think Ethan Happ's just going to destroy this game. Wisconsin.
Jesus, man.
Now, if you want to come back to
Oh,
me for
boy.
this next matchup,
Oh, boy.
Kansas State versus UC Irvine. Joey Tysick with the hot take alert.
okay.
I feel like we're going to completely differ on this one.
The coolest mascot
Oh,
in
Jesus.
all of the NCAA tournament, the UC Irvine Anteaters.
That is wrong,
Okay, but-
actually.
But seriously,
It's
wrong.
wrong.
they run a slow
Listen,
pace.
The banana slugs of UC Santa Cruz, I think they have the best mascot in the country.
Ooh. He got you
Malik,
beat.
can you look down at your bracket real quick?
Yeah.
Are they
let's
on
look
this
at it.
bracket?
No, they're not. But
Well,
okay, let's-
unfortunate.
Well played.
Anyway, but no, UC Irvine I think has a really good chance in this game, and I'm going to pick them because of it. They have the slow, methodical pace that they can slow people down. Kansas State is going to play without their best player most likely, and I just have a feeling. It's one of those things. I think Kansas State is probably the better team, but UC Irvine, they slow the pace down, they shoot the ball well. I think there's upset potential here.
If Dean Wade played the entire season, Kansas State, I think they would have ran away with the Big 12. When he's playing, they're a phenomenal team. When he's not playing, they're still a good team. I think they're too good for UC Irvine.
I don't trust Bruce Weber in this tournament. I really don't trust him. Give me the Anteaters.
Oh,
I think Malik is absolutely 1,000% correct. People sleep on this Wildcat team. Dean Wade has been hurt. I believe it's Bryce Brown, is it? Or Barry Brown, I believe
Barry
it is.
Brown.
Barry Brown, yeah. Barry Brown is still as good, if not slightly better than Dean Wade. Bruce Weber's going to have these guys ready. There was a reason last year they were in the Elite Eight, and I think they're
they're a
as good
better
to get
team.
back there. Yeah, and I think they're a better team. So give me Kansas State.
Okay, I'll be honest. I always sleep on Kansas State almost every year, and they get me almost every year as well. But Chris, just think about this: the Anteaters, or do you want another Wildcat to go forward? How unoriginal. You know, we got to break it. When you break these down, when it's 2-2 and tied, you got to go for the craziest reasons.
Joey, have you ever watched High School Musical?
Many times, yes.
Don't disrespect the Wildcat, okay? Get your head in the game.
There's too many.
Kansas State.
There's too many Wildcats to go around.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was on board with you completely until he brought up the High School Musical debate and told you to get your head in the game. Give me Kansas State. I was totally going Anteaters until he said that.
Get your head in the game.
I'll be fair. That's a good argument.
Is Troy Bolton playing for Dean Wade?
If he was, this whole tournament would be over.
Yeah.
6-11 matchup, Villanova versus St. Mary's. I reluctantly picked Villanova in this one, and Sammy picked St.
Sammy,
Mary's.
I feel like we're gonna agree.
Villanova.
Oh, Villanova.
That I did the V there. The V.
I thought it was.
Villanova.
I thought you would do. Yeah.
St. Mary's would be St. Mary's Cross. St. Mary's.
Ooh.
Malik, what you got?
I don't trust Villanova.
Yeah, I was reluctant to pick them.
They improved from their early season struggles. They went on a hot run. Phil Booth is the best player. No, he's the second best player in the Big East behind Miles Powell. But I still don't trust this team. I just don't do it.
You rocking with St. Mary's?
I'll let Garrett
I'm
be a
going with
swing.
Villanova.
No!
And there it is.
I'm going with St. Mary's.
I'm going with
And
Villanova.
that doesn't matter
I
because it's
think
3-1.
I know, but I wanted to get that in there.
St. Mary's.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
I feel like
Oh.
Phil Booth.
On go Villanova.
Phil Booth, Eric Pass, them two, they'll get it.
By the way, you're disrespecting my
That's
boy Marcus Howard by saying that other schlep from Seton Hall is the second best
Don't
player.
Marcus Howard has had a great season. He really has. But I think Miles Powell is a
That's
better overall player.
disrespect.
Better overall player.
You know, I know you guys are a bunch of Big Ten slappies, but outside of Big Ten slappies, I think Old Dominion's a good upset pick.
No.
Why, Sammy?
Let's see. Do they have an answer for Carson Edwards? Do they have an answer for
Is
that?
Carson Edwards?
Sometimes
They
Carson
haven't-
Edwards shoots himself out of the
listen,
game.
oh,
Do
man.
they have an answer for
Yeah.
that big guy who goes like a cuckoo train there? Do they have an answer for that guy?
Who's not as good as Isaac Haas?
No.
He's not, but he's still a good player.
Still a good player.
Go
should be
hard
better.
at Matt Harms like that, man.
Yeah.
I'm going with Purdue, man. I think
Yeah,
Carson
boiler up.
Edwards, this is his time to get back on track. Travion Williams has turned that team around since the midseason. He's a real good presence down low. And Matt Harms, his energy really turns them up. And, yeah, I think they get that.
I want to go Joey on this one. Joey, I feel like we're riding the same wavelength on this one.
Yeah. This is one of those ones that it's more of a feeling, I guess. But I don't like the way that Purdue has played recently. Carson Edwards has been really inefficient. We keep thinking that he's going to turn it around, and he hasn't. Old Dominion, they play a slower paced offense again. And I feel like that really hurts Carson Edwards. I feel like he wants to get out and run a little bit. And I don't know. It's just one of those things. Old Dominion did beat Syracuse. They've beaten VCU. So those are some solid teams. I mean, they're not Big Ten caliber teams, but I think there's a way. Obviously, Purdue with Harms in the middle, that size could disrupt them a bit, but I'm going with Old Dominion.
Give me Old Dominion as well.
Oh
Garrett,
my-
you are the
oh,
swing vote.
Oh my God! Really? Like this isn't even a question.
Garrett, here's
Carson
the thing.
Edwards is the best player in the Big
Listen,
Ten. Like,
But
come
that's
on
what you
now.
said
Listen,
going into the Big Ten tournament.
Carson Edwards.
Cassius Winston might be a top 5 player in the Big Ten. Might be. Cassius, it's
oh
a shame
boy.
that Cassius Winston
Cassius
even
is
a
better than
national-
Carson Edwards.
Hey, it's Carson Edwards.
Cassius is better than
Let's get
Carson
back to
Edwards.
this. Forget Carson Edwards. If Klein gets going,
Yes,
from the
if
three-point
Ryan
line,
Klein does get
he
going.
can shoot a team out of a
Yes.
game by
Yep.
himself.
To
Yeah.
be fair, I have Purdue in my official bracket, but I just wanted that for some controversy.
Purdue moves on.
Yes. And then 7-10 matchup, Cincinnati versus Iowa. I love Cincinnati this year. Give me Cincinnati.
Think Columbus. Give me Cincinnati.
I'm going with Jerron Cumberland in that team, the brother of Javen Cumberland. Or cousin? Is it cousin?
It might be cousin.
Okay, yeah, cousin.
You got the Oakland
But
shirt
yeah,
on.
I think Cincinnati, they're too tough for Iowa. I think if Iowa doesn't get their 3-pointers going from the outside, it showed against Michigan. When their shots fall, they're a really hard team to beat. But when they're average shooting to bad shooting, they're not that tough. They start to fade away.
Are we clean sweeping Cincinnati on this one? Joey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I will say this, they can rebound very well as well. Keith
And
Williams,
that's
Trey
huge
Scott.
in the tournament. And then the 2:15 matchup, it's Tennessee versus Colgate. I'm locking it in.
Tennessee, man.
Give me
Rocky
Colgate.
Top. Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Rocky
Colgate
Top.
toothpaste. Let's go.
You gotta rock the
They missed a
toothpaste.
big opportunity
Tennessee.
there, so Tennessee.
Give me Rocky Top.
I will say
Top.
that. I will say this
Rocky
though.
Top.
Only reason I'm going with Tennessee because I love the name Admiral Schofield.
One
Best
of the
name in college
names,
basketball.
probably the best name in college basketball. Yeah. Him and Grant Williams are.
Tennessee's
ridiculous
got
together.
a really nice song, and they go like, "Oh, the live long day." Da, da.
I mean,
That's my
Tennessee,
favorite.
they have
Old
Admiral
school song.
Schofield, one of the best names in college basketball, and then they have Grant Williams, one of the most
Old school
basic
big man.
names
Yeah. Old school big.
in college basketball.
On to the round of 32. Duke versus UCF.
Duke.
Let's not even wait. Let's save some time for
Zion.
everybody listening. Duke. Duke.
Taco. Taco.
Are you picking Taco?
No.
I hope to the basketball god Zion dunks on Taco Fall. I hope.
On
That's
to,
rude.
on to the next.
Taco Fall has taken a lot of time to develop
That's
his
rude.
talent.
And I appreciate that. But
I would-
man, it would be a
I would
sight to
feel
see.
so bad for him.
It's Mississippi State, the 5 seed, versus Virginia Tech, the 4 seed. I'm rocking Virginia Tech on this one.
So
Hokies.
am I.
Hokies.
Tech.
Hokies.
I can't wait to see this ACC rematch. Virginia Tech.
You're just a hater
Now,
on the ACC. No, I'm kidding.
No, I said I'm
Oh,
excited
never-
to see
sorry,
this.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't like the ACC just because they're similar to the SEC in football, but I mean, they're good.
now this should have been one of the more exciting games, but you guys decided to not put Yale through. So
I
it's
have Belmont and Yale.
versus LCU
I have
or
Belmont.
LSU. I'm picking Belmont because I thought LSU wasn't even going to win the first game. Give me Belmont. Joey.
I forgot Belmont won the.
I had Yale. I still have Yale.
Yeah, me too.
I got Yale.
Joe?
LSU is just too
Wow,
talented.
They're not that talented.
I think they are.
What do you mean they're not? They're not that. Believe me.
And
I believe me.
once they get past Yale, the coaching thing is really, I don't think it's going to matter as much. If they have to face Maryland, I think that could actually be
Sammy, sorry
a
to
little
cut
bit
you
tougher.
off, but Sammy, did you pick LSU or Belmont?
I picked Belmont.
Okay. Garrett.
See, this is tough because I wish we knew the team that they were playing against. That way it's easier. But I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Skylar Mays. Give me LSU.
Ugh. Malik?
LSU.
Of course you're picking LSU. Louisville versus MSU.
Rematch.
Give me Michigan State. I'm high on Michigan State this year.
As long as Foster Lawyer doesn't play, give me Michigan State.
Yeah, I agree with that take
Louisville.
wholeheartedly.
No, I'm kidding. But I've thought about it before because I would love to just make shirts that said MSU lost to Louisville twice and then wear one to the Breslin Center.
You would like to do that?
Yes. In a season
Why?
where Louisville looks like utter gutter trash.
I think this game all depends on, and the rest of the games that they play, it all depends on whether Matt McQuaid keeps this up. Early in the season, he couldn't shoot like this. Everybody expected him to. He starts to get it rolling later on in the season. Matt McQuaid has to keep shooting the lights out. He's a senior. This is his time. He continues to shoot the lights out. Michigan State wins.
Joey, you're picking at Louisville, right?
I think I agree with Malik where the biggest thing, though, with McQuaid is that they've finally given him more opportunities. You saw in the Big Ten tournament final, I think he shot, 12 threes or something like that to get there. So they're obviously giving him the green light a lot better. I think his confidence is rising. This game is the key game for Michigan State to determine how far they're going to go in this tournament. I think they either get stopped by Louisville, or if they win this game, they could have enough to make it to the Final Four. Louisville scares me. They have, like I said, they have a very tough schedule. They've played a lot of good teams. They have struggled down the stretch recently, but they still have played a lot of good teams. That's just something to watch out for. They already beat Michigan State earlier on in the season, so they have that confidence going into this game, knowing that they can beat Michigan State. But I think Michigan State's going to come out on top because of how tough and tenacious that Xavier Tillman has played down the stretch. I think his rebounding is going to be huge in this game.
Moving on. Oh, Garrett. Yeah.
I also wanted to say, too, Michigan State's got that built-in depth. And being that Aaron Henry can log you some minutes and play just fine, they can ease Nick Ward back in. Also, a lot like what Malik said about Matt McQuaid, Kenny Goins has shot very well from behind the 3 line as well. And in this tournament, you have guys that can shoot from 3, and you've got good depth. You generally go very far in the tournament. So Kenny Goins is going to really have to step up and fill in that void for Kyle Arns.
Moving on to the West region, it's Gonzaga versus Syracuse. Sammy, start us off on this one.
It wouldn't surprise me if Syracuse upset Gonzaga.
Really?
It really wouldn't, because that 2-3 zone.
I
It
think
really wouldn't surprise me.
Gonzaga has the players to outshoot that zone. They really do.
But I still got Gonzaga winning, though. But I think it wouldn't surprise me if they upset Syracuse.
Everybody picking Zags?
I think they break that zone, and then I think they coast the rest of the game.
I want to agree with Sammy. I think it's a possibility. I don't think it's going to happen. But we've seen this defense slow teams down, and they don't know what to do.
Gonzaga's the highest scoring team in the country.
I think Gonzaga is the
If
the
you
team.
slow the pace
Gonzaga
on
is
Gonzaga,
is the perfect team to know how to attack that zone. With Rui in the middle, Gary Clark down low catching lobs. You got the guards hitting threes.
I think by the
it's
I
perfectly
think
yeah. it's
I think by
perfectly
the
set
second
up.
half, Mark Few will figure it out. But I'm just saying, it slows the pace down. It just makes games harder. I don't think Gonzaga is going to have like a big problem with it, but there's a possibility.
Murray State. Oh, yes.
What Malik said earlier about Gardner-Webb and Virginia, be the same exact way with this. With like 2 minutes left in the first half, Syracuse might be up by like 4. Maybe by like 3 or 4, everybody's going to freak out about Gonzaga. Then Gonzaga's just going to wipe them off the floor by 20.
Yeah.
Just because that zone is difficult. But when you have Rui Hachimura, when you have Zach Norvell, Josh Perkins,
Exactly.
you're going to win games.
Murray State versus Florida State. I'm rocking with the Seminoles.
I'm going Murray State.
You're going Murray State. See, I usually fall into that trap of picking the NBA prospect, but not this year.
I got too much depth. Florida State's best player comes off the bench. I got to give Florida State.
G.
Florida State by 50.
Oh, I like it.
Wow.
By 50.
I think Florida State doesn't have the offensive firepower to blow out a team by 50.
I don't think.
But
I think they don't have all that.
I think they're too big and athletic that, they could stop John Morant in this game. I just think Florida State's way too strong. They're one of my sleeper picks, kind of like Garrett said in the first round. I think this team is poised that they could make a Final Four appearance.
That Murray State pick that's my feeling pick of this bracket. Just a gut feeling.
Respect it.
Buffalo versus Texas Tech. Again, I told you guys in the round of 64, I really like Texas Tech this year. Yes, G?
Give me the Bulls.
Garrett's locking in the Bulls. I'm locking in Texas Tech. Joey, where do you stand?
Red Raiders.
Thank you.
Texas Tech. I also feel like they're a pretty darn good team this season.
I want him to be the deciding, the last one. So Buffalo, I'm picking Buffalo.
Ooh, Sammy finally gets to be the one.
Pressure.
I don't feel any pressure. Give me the Bulls.
Yes,
Buffalo.
sir.
And just like that, he succumbed to the pressure.
You're going to really love this next pick then.
Florida versus Michigan. Hey, Sammy.
Let's let Sammy go first.
Sammy, what you got on this matchup?
Actually, I got Nevada beating Florida, but I think Nevada's beating Michigan.
Well,
Because
but that's not the situation
But,
at hand,
but
Sammy.
here at hand, I got Florida beating Michigan because Michigan can get into droughts. And Florida, very good defensively, as everybody said here. I think Florida, has just enough offense to pull off the upset against Michigan. Michigan has to be on upset alert.
I believe Florida is a matchup like Maryland, to where Michigan State is the only team that has Michigan figured out. That's decided. Everybody knows it. Every other team, Michigan can figure it out. And I think Florida, you can get enough out of Iggy, enough out of Jordan Poole, enough out of Charles Matthews against teams that aren't Michigan State. They always figure it out. They always lock down on defense, and they always figure out a way to get it done. I think even if they play Nevada just focusing on those 3 players to beat Michigan, that's not a good way to get it done. Because
You're locked in Michigan.
Yeah.
Garrett.
Malik's 1,000% correct about everything he just said.
Uh-oh.
I mean, Florida's a great defensive team, but at some point, Michigan was 28-3 with teams that weren't MSU, and if MSU is the only team that can do that to them,
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Got to go with the Wolverines.
Florida's a really good defensive team. Kevon Allen's really good, big guy down
Yeah.
low.
Oh, yeah.
I think
for
he'll
sure.
give Michigan some problems. And, Michigan's struggled a bit recently, but Florida doesn't have the best guard play. And that's what we've seen to kind of mess up Michigan with the pick and roll that Michigan State has run. If any team decides to run a pick and roll, Michigan might be in trouble.
But also, you have to,
But
have,
they don't
you have, to
have-
have a type of guard like Cassius Winston.
Right,
That
they
can
don't-
do so many different things.
They don't have Cassius Winston on Florida. They're going to be a tough team defensively, but I think Michigan still has enough weapons to spread the floor, hopefully get back to a more beeline style offense, not this one-on-one ISO stuff. Dump it down to Teskey, kick it back out to shooters. I think Michigan will win this game.
There's a reason why they've coasted through almost every other team except Michigan State in the Big Ten.
Moving on. Michigan, we got going forward. They'll play Buffalo in the Sweet 16. Let's move to the Midwest region. North Carolina, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed Utah State. Do any of you want to pick Utah State? The
North
team
Carolina's
riding
too good.
real hot.
No.
North Carolina's too good.
North Carolina's
Yeah.
too
They're
good.
too
I mean,
good.
I do want to pick Utah State, but I just don't see that outcome happening.
Yeah, same. Let's go Auburn, Northeastern, the Loyola. Actually, they might not really be the Loyola because I'm picking Auburn. I really like Auburn this year. I can't pick Northeastern over Auburn. Give me Auburn.
I don't
Malik, you
even
got
know.
Auburn
I don't
too?
even
War
know the
Eagle.
name of Northeastern's coach, but
War
he can't.
Eagle.
He won't outcoach Bruce Pearl. I'll
War
tell you
Eagle.
that much.
War Eagle.
What's their mascot?
Northeastern.
Yeah.
Huskies.
I think that
Huskies,
Huskies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
Iowa State versus Georgia State. Could Georgia State be the team that we see as the Cinderella?
You know, there's a song called Little Big Towns, the Tornado song, I believe. That's the end of Ron Hunter's dream there, cuz
The tornado.
it's like a song by Little Big Town. I'm picking Iowa State. That's what's gonna happen to Ron Hunter. That
Well-
tornado song. If you ever listen to Little Big Towns weather song, perfect song.
Malik,
I'm going Iowa State.
G.
Iowa State.
Ron Hunter's end is here.
Well, you know what? Just
It was-
since it's 3-0, I'm picking Ron Hunter. You're picking Ron Hunter. We'll still
Oh
put.
my
Fair
God.
enough. Fair enough.
Just
But I think
because.
Iowa State's going to win this game.
No, you can't say that, Joe. Can't say that.
Iowa State was gonna win.
Did we have Seton Hall or Wofford going ahead?
Seton Hall.
Seton.
Okay.
It's Seton
So
Hall.
it's Kentucky versus Seton Hall.
Seton Hall.
A lot
beat
of people
Kentucky
are-
during the regular
Well, a
season.
lot of people think Kentucky is a dark horse to make it to the Final Four. Not really a dark horse, but our favorite to make it to the Final Four. I think they could lose here. I think Seton Hall could knock them off.
Not going to happen.
Why?
Kentucky rebounds very, very well, and they're a very balanced team.
They have nothing for PJ Washington.
Ooh.
Ashton Haggins has become a game manager. Reed Travis is healthy. Kelton Johnson and PJ Washington are fantastic. I don't care how good Seton Hall has played recently. Kentucky's going to wipe them off the floor.
I agree.
No,
Kentucky-
man,
I think Kentucky. I think Kentucky wins by
Yeah.
like 25.
Kentucky.
I agree.
Seton Hall is one of those teams that I really want to win, and I think they're still on a hot streak. But I think that Kentucky's going to come out knowing that they lost to Seton Hall earlier,
Yeah.
and they're going to be on a mission. PJ Washington, Tyler Hero, those guys are just too good.
Let's move up to the South region. It's Virginia, the 1 seed versus the 8 seed Ole Miss. Sammy, what do you think in this one? I'm thinking Virginia. You want
Yeah.
to say Wayne? Yeah,
Virginia.
I know Joey is. Joey's team Virginia this year.
Yep, after I did not pick Virginia that far last year, I took a year off, and I was lucky. Now I'm back on the Virginia Cavaliers fan.
Garrett or Malik, anything to chime in?
Nope.
Virginia will continue to be surgical in their execution.
Wisconsin versus Kansas State.
I actually got Oregon versus UC Irvine in that one.
Oh.
Well, it's okay because that's not the views from the sideline
That's-
bracket. so.
That's in my own bracket, but if you're going that way, I'm picking Kansas State.
I'm picking Kansas State as well.
Sammy, you're causing my blood pressure to rise. Like this. Why so many upsets? Why? I showed you my list earlier. Upsets don't happen that often. They don't. They just don't.
Hey, Garrett, who
He
you
has
got?
nothing.
Give me wait.
It's
What,
nothing.
okay, what are we at? Wisconsin,
Wisconsin,
Kansas State?
yeah. Yeah.
Give me the Wildcats.
I also had Oregon, UC Irvine in my bracket.
Oh.
And this was going to be my UC Irvine into the Sweet 16. But in this game, I think Wisconsin, if they get out of the first round, I think Wisconsin's kind of a dangerous team.
I got Kansas State. That's a 4-1. Clobbering. Moving on. 6 seed Villanova versus 3 seed Purdue. I don't like Purdue. Give me Villanova.
Boiler up. Boiler up.
I feel like Carson Edwards loses his mind in this game. Goes for at least 35.
Okay, let's calm
Listen,
down.
Villanova's point guard is a horrible matchup for Carson Edwards.
I don't think
Terrible.
Villanova has any way of matching up to Matt Harms or Ryan Klein. I don't think
Also,
they have
yeah.
the size to even get anywhere close. So I think Purdue is going to win this.
I'm going Purdue.
Joey, even though it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. They all picked Purdue.
Never mind, Joe. I don't care about your opinion.
I
I just said I don't care about your
think
opinion.
if Purdue makes it out of the first round, they're another team that's dangerous.
Cincinnati versus Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Rocky Top.
Really? I'm going Bearcats.
Bearcats.
Listen.
Yes.
Oh, my
Bearcats.
gosh.
Let's go, Garrett. Bearcats.
Rocky Top.
Why? Give me the reason.
All right,
Give me the
hold
reasoning
on,
for why
hold
this
on. No,
Cincinnati
no.
team
No.
could beat Tennessee.
Joey is a swing vote. He gets the
Okay.
floor.
We better not have
Hey,
Cincinnati going
hey,
ahead.
Malik, chill. Do not alter his decision.
Jaron Cumberland is on a tear right now.
Yeah, he is.
And Cincinnati was not a team that I even paid attention to
No.
going into this tournament. They're going to cause some problems.
Yes, they are, Joe. Don't give
But
me the
what's-
no.
What's
Joey.
the number one name in the tournament? Admiral Schofield. What's the most basic name in the tournament? Grant Williams. Tennessee's too deep. They've played too many tough games. Tennessee's winning this game. Can't be on the Bearcats.
Boo.
That's sad. That's
Great pick.
disappointing.
Great
Who
pick.
was the one that said that upsets don't happen in the tournament?
Somebody said it.
Somebody. It
Somebody
was
here said
pretty
it.
close. I could hear it in my ear, but I'm not sure where.
Sweet 16 time, guys. Duke, Virginia Tech. Joey.
Man, I want the Hokies to win this game, but Duke's going to win.
Garrett.
Duke.
Duke.
I'm the same thing with Joey. I really want Virginia Tech to win this game, but I just cannot pick against Duke right now. Give me Duke.
Yeah, it's a clean sweep. LSU versus MSU. This is going to be a clobbering because LSU shouldn't even be in this game. Michigan State by 25.
Sparty by 30.
Close game.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I think this will be a good game. But I also agree. I think the way that Michigan State's been playing right now, they're too strong. They're too good.
Their toughest, like you said earlier, Joe, their toughest opponent's going to be Louisville.
They're too tested right now.
Yeah.
I will say Skylar Mays could cause problems for Cassius Winston, but State's just too good.
Yep. Moving to the West, it's Gonzaga versus Florida State. Garrett, start us off on this one.
Zags by 50. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding. No,
come
but the
on.
Zags are
Come
the
on.
Zags are going to win. As much as I love Florida State, there could be a potential here that Florida State does slow things down
That's
and
what I
try and
think's
use
gonna
that
happen.
depth on
Yep.
Gonzaga.
That's what's going to happen.
No, it's not.
Give
Rui
me
Hachimura is the best big man in the country, and Killian Tilly is back and healthy. Give me the Zags.
Gonzaga.
Give me Florida State.
Gonzaga, buzzer beater.
There are going to be some buzzer beaters, so yeah, nice.
I got the Seminoles. They're my
You
dark
wanna
horse
re-
Final Four.
Do you want to rethink this? Joey and I have both put Florida State.
I love Kolodziej
Now,
down low.
you just said you had Zags.
Don't make
Wait,
people
hold
rethink
on.
it.
He just had Zags on a buzzer beater.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy, what if just the shot at the buzzer just rimmed out?
Yeah.
Just hit the
Shut
back
up
of the
about
iron.
this
Oh, that would be stunning. But I still got Gonzaga. Buzzer beater.
How disappointing. Then we got Buffalo versus Michigan. Sammy, what you got on that one?
I got Buffalo.
Oh, do ya?
Yeah, I got Buffalo. Upset Michigan.
Malik,
Buffalo.
what? Over Michigan? Wow. I'm stunned. You want me to go?
Yes.
Give me Michigan.
I think if Michigan,
Even though I did have, sorry to cut you off, but I had in my bracket I have Texas Tech winning that game. I don't trust Buffalo as much. That's why I'm picking Michigan.
I come in kind of in the same boat with Michigan State. Like if Michigan has made it this far, I think they'll be rolling at this point. So I don't think that Buffalo would scare them. I think they would throw them off guard, and I think Michigan's just too strong at that point.
Swing vote.
That's why I wanted to do this. This is the first swing vote I've had all day.
Really?
First swing vote I've had all day.
Make good time.
Give me the Bulls. Going to the
You
Elite
didn't,
Eight.
even give, you didn't even give any facts, anything to swing it. You literally just said, give me
Here's
the
the thing.
Bulls.
The way that Cassius Winston played against Xavier Simpson is the way that I can see
C.J.
C.J. Massenberg
yes.
playing against Xavier Simpson. He's a pain in the butt. Dante Carruthers is also a guy that can just let it rip from three. Javon Graves, Jeremy Harris. They got just a very strong team that can shoot from the outside, and we've seen that. If Xavier Simpson is in any which way confused, Michigan's in trouble. C.J. Massenberg is that guy to throw him off the ledge. Give me
I
Buffalo.
feel like if Michigan goes into a drought against Buffalo, Buffalo's going to take advantage.
North Carolina versus Auburn.
North Carolina.
Yeah, it's
North
the clean
Carolina.
sweeps. Carry.
I want to take Auburn, but no, it's North Carolina.
Joey, anything?
Nothing.
Nothing. Iowa State versus Kentucky, guys. Joey, you had nothing to say. Have something to say here.
I think Kentucky's on a mission. I want Iowa State to win this game deep down, but I think that Kentucky's going to win it. I think they're just too strong, and I think they've played too many tough opponents where Iowa State's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I'm picking Kentucky.
This is where the Big 12 being down this year, this is where they're going to really struggle.
Any, Garrett, do you think there's any chance Iowa State wins this one? No.
No.
Let's go to the South region. Virginia versus Kansas State. Give me Kansas State.
Oh my God. What?
Virginia.
I have confidence this year in Virginia. I'm going to go with the Cavaliers. I think this is probably the year that they actually get to close to a Final Four, and they actually might make the Final Four. So give me Virginia.
If Dean Wade is out, Jack Salt and Sam Huff will control this game, and Kyle Guy and Ty Jerome will continue to shoot at a high percentage. So Virginia.
Yeah. Kyle Guy, DeAndre Hunter, Ty Jerome. Virginia's got too many good weapons.
Virginia.
We saw them a couple weeks ago. They were struggling in a game. Who were they playing? A not very good team, and they were tied like for a while. And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. Straight threes in a row, beat them by 20.
Purdue, Tennessee. This is a fun one, I feel like.
Tennessee. I feel like this is a mismatch. I feel like Tennessee will handle Purdue, honestly.
I'm taking
I don't
Tennessee,
feel like
too.
this is a good matchup.
Because all of you suck and don't have Cincinnati in your
Jordan-
bracket.
Thank you.
Jordan Bone and Lamonte Turner
You guys are
will
gonna-
make it that day hell.
You
for
guys,
Carson Edwards.
you guys are making a bad decision by not taking Cincinnati.
Yes, you guys are making a bad decision by not taking
Wait,
Cincinnati.
did Cincinnati win the?
No, Tennessee did.
Oh, okay.
But if that's the case, I something about Rick Barnes
I
and
don't
getting
think
to
it's not a
this time of
It's not a
state,
good matchup to me.
it's gonna be Tennessee.
Joey.
Tennessee. Admiral Schofield.
That's the point every single time. Tennessee wins the national championship because of
Rocky Top.
He'll put Admiral Schofield on the national championship
Rocky
line.
Top. Give me Rocky Top.
We've made it to the Elite Eight.
Ooh.
Duke, MSU.
Duke.
Let me start this one off. I talked about at the beginning of the show. What's the one team in this tournament Duke did not want to see leading up to the Final Four? It's Michigan State. Michigan State matches up phenomenally against Duke. They have a chip on their shoulder, as in Michigan State. They're riding a extremely hot wave right now. The only thing that I'm concerned with is the load that Cassius Winston has been carrying. But if he can keep it together, like I'm predicting, give me MSU over Duke.
Oh my!
Trey Jones is a top 5 perimeter point guard defender in college basketball. RJ Barrett, I think he will hold Matt McQuaid in check. I think Cam Reddish will hit shots when he needs to.
Here's the problem with your opinion, Malik. You're looking too much on paper. This is what you got to think about. There's months in the year. There's January, there's February, there's Izzo.
Boo!
This is Izzo.
Well, it's been Beeline the past few years.
I was going to say, when is the last time that we worried about Izzo in March.
This is going to be the first time in a long time.
I've said several times. I think next year's MSU's year to make.
You
it
have
onto
said
the
that,
national
yeah.
championship. I think this year, I don't think this is the time.
All
I
right.
haven't even brought up Zion yet. I mentioned all that stuff. I'm not even gonna bring him up since I was rudely interrupted.
Hey, that,
by
it
our
was just
host.
it was a lovely
I'm not even gonna
interruption.
bring up the monster factor.
Okay. Let me put Malik in his place here.
Thank you, Sammy.
All right. Zion Williams. Nick,
You just helped Malik with his argument right there
all right, Nick
by
Ward
mentioning Zion.
has 5 fouls.
What
to give.
is Nick?
Kenny going?
That's 5 fouls.
Sammy,
you might be
Damn,
right.
you tell me.
Nick Ward
That's
has
5 fouls to
fouls.
give. Think about that. Think about that. And
Oh,
what
man.
if Zion Williamson gets into foul trouble? Then think about that. Think about that. And of course, yeah, you got RJ Barrett. What if RJ Barrett gets into foul trouble? Chris, you are right. Michigan State matched up well with Duke here. They match up well with Duke here. It wouldn't surprise me if Michigan State beats Duke. It really wouldn't surprise me. And I think the difference in this matchup is, as I mentioned, I mean, Tillman's got 5 to give. Ward's got 5 to give. Going's got 5 to give. Kittier's got 5 to give. So I'm
Kittier
telling you right now.
sucks.
So I'm telling you
Kittier
right now.
sucks.
So I'm telling you right now. And you better zip it there, Garrett Kolodziej.
Kittier
But I'm
sucks.
telling you right now, those guys have 20 fouls to give between those 4 players. They're going to present problems for RJ Williamson and for Zion Williamson. And if Williamson gets into foul trouble, think about that. Think about that stat right there. I'm not being mean to you, but Duke is a much different team without Zion Williamson. We saw that. So give me Michigan State in this one.
2-1. Garrett.
No, Joey, I'll let you go first.
But I
I
feel like
love that he brought.
I already
Nick
know where
Ward.
you're going with on
I
this.
love
Joey's wait. Joey stayed quiet. Garrett, you're picking Duke. We all know this as a
Yeah, because Sammy's he has the blinders on. He's part of the propaganda machine. Oh, Michigan State, oh, Kyle Lawrence.
Is that your Dick Vitale impersonation?
How in good conscience can you pick this team to even get anywhere close to Duke? Duke is leaps and bounds the best team in the country. Duke is so much better than even what State is. You can't even put Xavier Tillman on Duke's roster, and he wouldn't even get any playing time. You can't put Kenny Goins on there. Kenny Goins couldn't even get an offer from Duke if he tried to show up.
Xavier
to
would play
camps.
ahead of Javin DeLaurier.
I don't know what kind of I don't know what makes you think MSU is going to win this game, because they're just not superior talent-wise to Duke.
Talent doesn't beat teamwork. Here.
Oh my God. Oh, so what? We're going to talk about teamwork and say, oh, Izzo's a great coach because he has 7 Final Fours and only won one
Michigan
back in
State's
2000?
got something to prove.
What? What do they have to
They
prove?
have something to prove here. They haven't been to a Final Four in a while. They have not. Izzo has not beaten Coach K in the tournament.
There's a reason why Coach K is 11-1 against MSU. It's because Izzo lives in 1995 with his offense.
Ooh.
Give me Duke. Give me Duke. It's not even close.
Joey.
Listen, the fact that Nick Ward is the expendable player on MSU, that just makes me laugh so hard.
Joey.
I love Nick Ward was the first player he brought up.
I
Let's hear
agree
this.
with Sammy with the fact that talent doesn't always matter, and Izzo has never done well with talent.
Exactly.
This is an Izzo-type team, which makes them more dangerous.
But
This matchup is super interesting, and I think it's going to be – I hope it's a really good game, because Duke doesn't have a lot of answers for Michigan State's bigs. They get a lot of good rebounds. They just play tough. Even though Duke has Zion Williamson, they're going to make it tough on him. They're not going to make it easy. I think the big factor, too, is if Bolden is healthy in this game, if they have him back, that could be an X factor to give Duke the edge. And yes, Trey Jones is a good defender against Cassius Winston, but Xavier Simpson was supposed to be as well. And I just want to take that into account. If either of the big three from Duke struggle in this game, I think Michigan State has more weapons overall. This game is so hard to call.
Joey, I need you to make a decision.
because I can see both sides having advantages and disadvantages.
just do it. Nike.
And I'm going to go back to my statement about if I believe that if Michigan State can get past Louisville, they're poised to make a run. And I think that Virginia Tech could maybe show off some of Duke's weaknesses. They also shoot the 3-ball really well, the same as Michigan State. And I think Michigan State can use that to take into account against their game against Duke. I'm going to go with Michigan State.
Oh, man.
Oh, and by the way, here's another stat. Duke is the worst 3-point shooting team in the country. That is not a
Doesn't matter when you have 3 freaks. Literally,
Duke
3 wing players that are the best players in the country.
But 3-point shooting makes up for good inside game.
And Michigan State shoots the 3 ball very well, and their interior defense is really good. So it makes it harder for those Duke guys to get in the paint. They're going to have to take some damage going in there.
And they're physical, too. Michigan State.
Exactly. They're going to bump with Zion and RJ Barrett, who are trying
Nobody's
to get in.
bumping with Zion.
I
They'll
think-
bump with RJ.
I think Cam
RJ.
Reddish is the big X factor in this game. He struggled recently down the stretch. He could maybe beat the Spartans, but I think Michigan State has a really good chance.
I got to say, I'm stunned. But I appreciate you, Joe. Moving on. Gonzaga.
Who do we have going on?
MSU.
Okay.
Yeah, because Sammy and I both had MSU. Joey was the swing vote. Gonzaga, Buffalo. Nobody here is picking Buffalo. Let's be real. This is
Gonzaga.
the
Gonzaga.
cleanest Elite Eight game we're gonna see. That's
Well,
a bad.
Buffalo-
That's a bad take by us.
Buffalo-
Putting
Maybe if you
Buffalo.
guys would have
Buffalo
picked
put up a-
Michigan.
Buffalo
Thank you.
put up a serious fight in the first
Come on,
round,
guys. That's
but-
such a bad.
We
pick.
ruined out in the Michigan State Final Four matchup.
And then Michigan State wins again at that point because they can't guard Cassius.
I'm just saying, you'd get
North-
a 4th matchup.
North Carolina, Kentucky. Garrett,
Ooh.
I want you to start this one off.
Oh, boy. So there's a few factors that really work into how to pick a national champion. And one of them, and there's this article I read that says you need a senior or several upperclassmen who have valuable contributors, and you need a very good point guard.
Can I guess what it takes? Heart to win.
They also need a awesome crunch time scorer. I think what you're talking about there is North Carolina. Luke May, great shooter. Kobe White has really come out this year as a very strong point guard. I'm not really sure Ashton Hagens is that elite level point guard to take Kentucky this far. So give me the Tar Heels.
Sam,
Give me North Carolina convincingly.
Joey.
I'm going with Kentucky. I think both of these teams are a little bit young. Yes, North Carolina has Luke May. He brings the veteran leadership for that team. But I think Kentucky, they're another one of these teams that if they can make it out of this second round scare, perhaps, that I think they're dangerous. I think they have a lot of weapons. And I think, the combination between Tyler Hero, PJ Washington, Keldon Johnson, I think they got a lot of weapons to match up with UNC. And it's one of those, feelings. And I think that's how you pick a national championship is feelings.
I have facts.
You have to have a feel.
I have facts.
Well, facts last year would have told you that Virginia was going to win against UMBC, and that didn't happen. Facts would have told you that Loyola Chicago wasn't going to make the Sweet 16, but that happened. Facts would have told you that Michigan was not going to make the national championship last season, but they did.
Facts also have anomalies built into them as well, too, Joe. So guess what? Certain things happen at some point.
And that's where feelings take over.
Malik, what you got?
I think Kobe White raises his draft stock in this game. I think he really shows the entire country how talented he is, his jumper, his ability to draw to the lane, and his extreme quickness. I think all the long list of shooters North Carolina has, Cam Johnson,
Nasir Little as well, too. I mean,
and Nasir Little has had his moments, but hasn't really broken out because the rest of the team has played so well. Luke May is going to play well. Those post players rebound and defend. I think North Carolina surprisingly wins convincingly in this game.
Yeah, I'm
maybe
10
or 11 point win.
Yep.
I think this is going to be a good game either way.
Virginia versus Tennessee for a trip to the Final Four in the South region. Garrett, start me off.
What is it?
Virginia, Tennessee.
As much as I think Virginia is on the revenge tour, similar to what Michigan football had this year, I think it does stop here. At some point, when you play that retro style basketball and you have a very good point guard and you have a very good team that can, blend around you, that's in your favor. I'm going to go with Tennessee to go to the Final Four.
Joey. We know you're picking Virginia, so just say it.
Tennessee
No.
has the most exciting name in college
Oh
basketball,
my God.
Admiral Schofield. But that power doesn't last forever. Going with Virginia, the 3-point shooters.
Sammy.
Joey Tysick, Admiral Schofield is going to the Final Four. Virginia is going bye-bye.
To be honest, both of these teams I like. So for either of these teams to advance, I'd be super happy.
Malik.
Tennessee has shown during the season that when they go against teams that are extremely focused, can hit shots at a high level, and play really good defense, they can lose track and get blown out. Virginia has all three of those elements, and they will beat Tennessee.
Oh, I'm the swing vote here. Huh.
Chris, fellow 3-point
Oh,
shooters.
stop it. Okay.
You know,
Solid reasoning.
Virginia has a lot of 3-point bombers. You know we like to spread the floor.
Give me Virginia. Joe, that was too good. It's true. Got to spread the floor, you know. Got to keep the defense honest. MSU versus Gonzaga for a trip to the national championship game.
Gonzaga.
Give me Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Sammy and I are on Michigan State.
Of course.
Malik is picking Gonzaga.
Garrett's
picking Gonzaga. Are you?
They're picking
Garrett-
Michigan State
Garrett-
to win it all. We knew he was picking Michigan State to win it all. Chris, you're gonna pick Michigan State.
I'm ready
win
to
it all.
swing
At this
again.
point, I can already see that.
Swing it, Joe. You got Gonzaga, right, Garrett?
If Michigan State beats Duke,
They can beat the
the
Zags.
#1 overall seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs will look like nothing comparatively. I think that at that point, Michigan State will win. Again, Michigan State's bigs can match up with Hachimura. He's obviously a great talent.
That means at this point, Michigan State's gonna win the national championship. It's not even.
But I'm just
you can
saying,
close your laptop. It's not even a. It's not even a.
if they beat
discussion
Duke,
anymore.
how can they not beat Gonzaga?
There have been teams that beat.
They're
really good
I'm just
teams
saying they're
before.
very similar to where I feel like Michigan State could, use their tenacity and all their bigs to be able to match up against Gonzaga. And I just feel like if they're locked in, they are very good.
I feel like this is Garrett. This is pretty much over.
Virginia
This is
versus
where-
North Carolina.
North
Doesn't
Carolina.
matter. Doesn't matter.
North Carolina.
Garrett, what you got?
Malik, we're on our own island.
Doesn't
my friend.
matter, man.
North Carolina.
We are on our own island here. Wait, Virginia, North Carolina?
Yeah, Sammy's
North
got North
Carolina.
Carolina.
I
What
want
do
to be a troll and say Virginia.
I'll go with North Carolina.
You do you, Garrett.
Are you going with North Carolina, Joey? Okay, I'll join Joey. I'm going to go Virginia.
Malik, what you got?
I got North Carolina. Whoever I pick at this point, it doesn't matter. We know who's gonna win this.
Give me
whole
the
thing.
Tar Heels.
Malik,
North
that's
Carolina.
that's how the views from the sideline bracket goes, though.
Sit back and
It ultimately doesn't matter who you pick; it's the majority.
And then you had the national championship. game.
Now the national championship. It's Michigan State versus North Carolina. Before anybody says anything,
Come on, just pick the winner.
let me start. I'm going to go to Malik. We'll go Sammy. We'll go Garrett. We'll go Joe.
I should be the last one.
No, because we know you're picking Michigan State.
You never know.
Give me
No.
North Carolina. They're the better team. I
Not
said
even
in the beginning.
slightly.
I said in the beginning of the show that I thought they were the favorite. I think they're the favorite to win it all. Give me the Tar Heels. I think there's just too much there, and Roy Williams, the coaching factor, does play a role in this one. Give me North Carolina to win the national championship. Malik.
I think it was either up to Gonzaga or North Carolina to win it all. And if it's this matchup, I'm picking North Carolina.
You know, a lot of people ask me about this matchup. I thought about this long and hard. Now people say, am I gonna go? Am I gonna go with Michigan State? Or am I gonna go with North Carolina? I thought it over.
Cassius
Actually,
Winston scores 60 points.
I actually thought this
Matt
went
McQuaid
over.
hits 12-3.
Xavier Tillman.
All right, let's let Sammy talk.
I actually thought this over. You're gonna all be stunned. I'm going North Carolina wins the national championship over Michigan
Hey,
State.
objectivity. Let's go. Nice.
Doesn't matter now, but let's hear your pick.
Key factor Mike Krzyzewski was 11-1 against Tom Izzo. I think Roy Williams is like 7-2 or something like that against Tom Izzo. That's going to move to 8-2. Give me the Tar Heels.
Oh, boy. I think no matter who is in either the South or Midwest bracket, whether it be Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina, I think they're the favorites to win the title. For me personally, I know that's not like the consensus, obviously. But at this point, Cassius Winston is going to run out of gas. He's going to play too many heavy minutes. He's going to have the entire Michigan State workload on him. And Kobe White, what does he love to do? He loves to just run the floor and just push the ball
nonstop.
And I think that's going to cause problems because Cassius is going to have to play more defense, and he's just going to struggle in this game. I'm running the table, UNC.
And also, Kobe White doesn't wear a hideous headband like Cassius Winston does.
But he also has like a mop on his head that I feel like it slows him down. I think he'd be even faster if he cut his hair. Look what Alfred Payton did.
Yep.
All right, let's get a score. I think this one's going to be a blowout. I know Sammy doesn't.
86-80.
Garrett, what are you thinking?
Let's go 79. Let's go 79-65.
Joe.
UNC.
Correction on mine, 86-83 North Carolina. Buzzer beating 3.
That would be great.
The chances of that.
That'd be great. I'm going to go 80-68. I think it stays close for a while, and then UNC kind of runs away at the end.
Malik?
75-59.
We're going to rock with 83-72. I think that's a
what we're
solid
going
number.
with.
Well, guys,
Cue the music. One shining moment.
we did it. Round of applause. Round of applause.
Moment you reach for the stars. It's one shining moment for you.
What do you think? What are you singing?
The song they play whenever a team's
only the
winning
greatest
national
song,
championship.
only
I'm
the
saying.
greatest song to ever exist in the month of late March, or in the part of late March and early April. One shining moment.
So, guys,
The ball is tipped
Are all of you ready for
There you are.
upsets we don't expect?
and running for your life. You're a shooting star. And no one feels.
I don't know all the words. He knows all
No
the words.
one knows just how hard you worked. And inside it shows. It's one shining
we're letting it ride out.
should I?
Okay,
I
we're
was
not
gonna,
letting it ride
I
out.
was going to just end it, I thought.
Not
no.
letting it ride out.
But
I am ready for that, Malik.
Teams are gonna get upset that we don't expect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if you see like a 7 or 8 seed or 9 seed. If you see a high seed above, or if you see a team above a 5 or 6 seed make it to the Final Four. I mean, it could happen this year. There's some balance this year on the bracket, so I'm ready for craziness, and that's why they call it March Madness.
Belmont could actually make a run. They could make an Elite 8 run. It's possible.
Watch out for Buffalo. I think Buffalo could. I like where Buffalo's at. They're seated at.
Joey, what team should people at home watch out for?
I want to say the Anteaters, but I don't think they're a team you really watch out for. I think St. Mary's. I mean, if they get past Villanova, I think they can make some noise.
Yale over LSU could end up being one of the
Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah.
upset of this
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
Even though people could see it coming.
I'm buying Yale. I'm
Or
really
New-
high
but-
on Yale.
Come on,
New Mexico,
Northeastern.
New Mexico
Come
State.
on, Northeastern.
New Mexico State, I think, is a dangerous team too.
Yale and Cincinnati are my two teams to watch out for.
Mine, if I had to pick one that no one else has chosen on this bracket, Joey, let me take a look, see at that. Is that our bracket that we did officially?
Yeah.
I would go with. Oh, well, we didn't choose Wofford. Anyways, for me, I'm going to go with Wofford. And I would go with Kansas State.
Buffalo and Yale are my two teams I'm watching.
Actually, I think Gonzaga's going to win it all.
Zags. Well, that's going to do it for
I
our
got
March
Kentucky.
Madness preview. Each week, well, during the tournament, we will break down what's happening. It'll be all March Madness all the time. Thanks for joining us, Sammy Taormina, Garrett Kolodziej, Joey Malik. I guess I'll see you guys next week. Well, it was fun. We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hiya.
One shining moment, you'll reach for the stars. One shining moment
Cut
for
it.
you.